And can we do a screen, a share, so we can?
I think we're going live, guys. You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast, featuring the Tandy Color computer. We spread the love to the past, present, and future for all models, including the original color computer, the Coco 3, and the world-renowned exclusive French-Canadian Coco 2, the Radio Shack.
There it is! Oh, okay. No! Ah!
CoCoTALK would like to thank the patrons who sponsor our show, so our heartfelt gratitude goes out to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Blair Ledoux, Brendan Donahue, Brian Weasler, D. Bruce Moore, Davey Mitchell, Diego, Patrick Randolph, Dinty, Disney Saints fan, Eric Canales, Fedor Stamen, Frodo NL, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Vebke, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Jason Bucata, Jason Downs, Ken Reichert, Kyle Etter, Malfunct, Michael Pitsley, Rick Hewlin, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Richard Lorbieski, Jenna Ferrin, Rob Inman, Alan Murphy, Stephen Wagner, Terry Steen, The Backyard Shed Gang, Perry Steggy, Tom C., Tom S., Tim Lindner, and Tony C. Thank you ever so much, patrons. CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks, grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Good afternoon, everybody. The results are in, and we know that you will be getting 4 more years of CoCoTALK. You can always count on CoCoTALK. We're here for you.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yay.
congratulations, Jim.
Yep.
I heard some people were demanding a recount, though. I'm not sure.
I think he was the first one. The Commodore contingent is demanding a recount.
6502s can't handle the 6809s in the run, in the lead.
Yes.
We're not getting audio on the stream, it sounds like.
At least Rob.
Sorry about that. Well, I said a lot of funny things, and I had my mic turned off. So, thank you, panel, for laughing at my jokes. I really do appreciate that.
No problem. We're here to make you look good.
That's right. Well,
No
we
matter what.
will talk more about the recount to overturn the election of Jim Brain later. But what we have on the panel, we have an esteemed panel here. Paul Barton, who knows a few things about wires and cables and color computers and lots of things. We've got him available and ready. And how are you doing today, Paul? Are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been playing around with these Control-Alt-Reset images to, different styles and coloring. Try to get some regular video and then inverse videos by just modifying the code and keeping the picture. But right now what I'm showing is artifacting on an RGB monitor. It's blue and white, and you can see red. And I know it's not focused very well because it's not a very good camera, but it's got red in there. And I'm showing the white edge so you can see the. It's
Definitely,
not
it's
really
different.
coming through very well, but it is doing it. It's nice bright red in the.
But is that your green gun going high on the upper border of the image there?
No, it's not converged. I need to move the yoke, so don't worry about
that's
that.
funny. Well, I was just wondering. It just
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so that's what my image looks like. It's basically a 256 by 192, black and white, with the headers stripped out of it. So it's 6144 decimal bytes of image, and then it's upside down. So you have to build the picture upside down as a BMP,
It looks
a
right
Windows
for me.
BMP. And then I just take it and patch it into the ROM and reburn the ROM. Or reassemble the whole thing and then reburn the ROM so I can plug it in. I use little PLCC 32 ROMs. And that works out pretty good. I've got several jumpers on there so I can wander through different images and different boot sequences.
You have theme ones for like Christmas holidays and stuff too, then, or?
Oh, I wish. Anyway, hang on a second. This is what the header looks like now. Well, that's the whole thing. I used up the whole space for both headers, and I just put in a bunch of dumb text so I could have some fun with it. It's not really important. It's just something to do.
Mostly hacked by guardians.
Yeah.
Nothing sacred anymore, huh?
Yeah, right. So that's basically it, what I was showing.
At least it doesn't say Commodore 64 Basic Ready.
Oh, gosh. No, it doesn't. It's done all that. And
What's this blasphemy? This is blasphemy.
I feel triggered.
Hey, that might
And
confuse
if I
Jim.
type CLS 100, it comes up HD 63CO9EP. So
Oh, rather than Microsoft.
We
Yeah.
secretly switched this Coco to Commodore Basic. Will Jim Brain notice?
Of course he will.
So somebody asked me, I asked about artifacting in the image itself, and apparently it's doing something, but I don't know how to control it. So.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to you, Paul, if you
That's it.
want to go into more detail there on any of those projects or what you're doing there in the ROM.
Okay.
Just let us know. And a guy who likes to play with images and audio and occasionally gets stuck in a few CRT monitors, as I've been known to do. He's from down under. I'm out of stuff to say about him because I'm just speechless with his talent. He's David O'Connor, everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm still stuck here in this CRT. Yeah, Stevie gave me some more oxygen, and I'm having fun in here. It's actually kind of cool. I like it, so I'm going to stay here for a while.
Don't panic, David. We'll get you out.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about crazy stuff on the news when I'm in here. I am the news.
I was going to say,
Burn your
It's just
elbow
gonna
on
take
the
a while for
cathode
us to
heater.
swim down there.
I was going to say it'd be nice and warm in there for winter, but it's getting hot where you are.
Yeah, coming into summer, it's going to be mid-30s and 35 degrees. That's Celsius here in this week, so it's pretty warm.
You might
I'm
want
jealous.
to.
We're getting half a foot of snow this weekend.
Oh,
You
send
can
some
keep
over
it.
here.
Just
You
be
might-
nice, David, or we'll degoss you.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's an idea.
We've got some CRT humor here today. It was going to be a lot of. I was going to say you could summer in on an LCD panel for if you want to be cooler later, but I'm working on
I've
mine.
got one next to me.
Well, speaking of, we talked a little bit about 6502s earlier, and hopefully not too much more on today's channel, but a guy who knows a few things about Apple products that use that processor is Mark D. Overholzer.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Glad to be here, as usual.
And we love all processors equally. Well, that's not exactly true, but
The 6309 is as good as the 6809, but we'll leave out the 6502.
that's right. Next on the panel, Ron Delvaux, a guy
Yes.
who needs no introduction.
Nope.
Let's face it.
Just move along.
He's got a garage. He's got things in it. He's got lots of color
He's
computers.
got half a garage.
Yeah.
He's got Tandy computers. How are you doing, Ron? And welcome to the show.
Pretty darn good. Weather's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, the weather
I've
is
been-
That's good.
pretty nice.
Having a whole week of playing around on my Coco, and I did some work on trying to bring in WeFax on my color computer, which I got a couple of channels, but they weren't exactly broadcasting, but I did post a couple of things. I'll go over it later, show you guys.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. We'll do a little Ron's Garage
Yeah.
later in the show. Patrick Euland is on the panel, guy who knows OS 9 and all sorts of stuff and drops degaussing and in casual conversation. How are you doing, Patrick? Welcome to the panel.
Oh, fairly well. I decided 3 open projects weren't enough, so I started a 4th and 5th one. So
That's right.
life is good.
Hey,
Yeah, 'cause
yay, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. You had a high-res joystick project at one point.
Yeah, that's. I actually had to redo my tool chain because the software I used to use went in-house only, and you couldn't make generic Gerber files from it anymore. So I had to learn a whole new CAD program. And so, yeah, it's been a fun summer. I went right back to college in a little way there.
Yeah.
But I'm doing output again. So I, of course, decided to open up a bunch of new projects with my newfound skills and create a total catastrophe. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Paul's showing, what are you showing, Paul, on the screen? Paul's showing a chip of some kind.
It's a Motorola
CPU of some sort.
6809.
Oh.
A ceramic.
ceramic with gold. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, not to get off topic here from Patrick, but if you wanted to, you could wire up that ceramic 6809 and the Coco wouldn't know the difference, right?
No,
Right.
it's an 03.
Oh, okay. It's a.
Oh, 6803. So it's
MC10?
a MC10.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's not bring up
The
MC.
world's nicest gift.
We were having
Nothing excited over them, folks.
we were having
Move
such a
along.
good show before we brought up the MC10. But Patrick, did you want to preview that project now, or you want us to come back to you later?
Yeah, I'm not really, don't really have much to show off yet, but I'll have a little bit for acquisitions just to say, hey, look,
Okay.
I think it's interesting. Okay, so I got my first, here's the old circuit board that I made with the prototype company. Here's the ones that I got from JLC PCB. Much nicer, silk screened and all of that stuff. And like,
They do good work.
the price.
Yeah,
You
they do
know,
excellent work.
Why, thank you. Interesting. I have a good feeling about this because they sent me a free keychain. It's a cat. So I expect their products will work nicely in this application.
Okay.
And here's something exciting. Speaking of exciting things, so here's my original 6550 serial port, and it fits in a ROM pack just.
Nice.
Okay, here's the same chip nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I expect to get a few more items in this ROM pack game case here. And so that's
Maybe
my
just
next
one or two.
project.
More bang for the buck.
Cramming more bang in a ROM pack here. So we'll see how that goes.
All righty. Well, we will keep moving on our Hollywood Squares panel, which Zoom keeps shifting around. But next is a guy from Canada. He worked on something called OS 9, the sequel to OS 8, I believe.
That old obscure thing.
Actually, I didn't do any work in OS 9, just Nitrous 9.
That's true. That's true.
And
but
unlike
boy,
Rick, I've got too many projects.
Yes, we know. We've got Beta 6 coming soon. I put up my little Beta 6 badge, just like I do around the house, so that I know you're always working on something for Nitrous 9. How are you
A
doing?
preview went out to some of the testers here too. I mean, there's still more stuff to add and more stuff to fix, but
Yes, I did some quick looking. I probably have to dig into that a little bit more, but I gave you some initial feedback.
yeah, I got feedback from a few people so far, so that's good. I will say one thing quickly because it doesn't really qualify as news or anything, but Floyd Resler, who wrote the game that I put out for testing, because I did change some of it when I put it up, he's actually had some chance to play it, and he goes, I forgot how good this game was to play, and he says, I can already see 5 things I want to fix up now. So expect an updated version coming from him in the future.
It is a really good game. Yeah, I hope he does fix the few things that I saw that I kind of was talking to you on email about. But
yeah, I mean Nick Morandis and a few others have also mentioned some things, and I've mentioned a few to him as well. But he was cranking out the games back then. He brought out 4 games in the span of a year and a half back at that time, and he was still learning things. We're still running the old version of Science. Everything was slower, so he had to make a bunch of compensations for that, which he doesn't have to do anymore. So yeah, he's got a lot of ideas, including some I hadn't thought of, and none of us had thought of. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not going to give any Marotas any ideas, but GemQuest might be a candidate someday for a game on segment. But we'll have to see, if it's
it'll be a while. I think Nick's booked for the rest of the month, from what I hear.
Oh yeah. I'm just complimenting GemQuest. I think it's a really fun game, and perhaps it'd be on the docket for the future. Speaking of game on and game playing and high scores and yet another Canadian taking American Zoom panel spots, it's Nick Marota. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm here to fulfill the CRTC, which is our equivalent to the FCC requirements for Canadian content. So.
Yes, there used to be something called the fairness doctrine, where you had to have both sides of the story on TV, and that's what we have.
Certain percentage of Canadian music on radio stations, that sort of thing. Yeah,
yes.
I don't know if that's still in play, but
yeah. So we get to hear Celine Dion even more than you Yanks. Sorry.
We've hit just the right
lucky
amount of.
You.
I think we've.
Oh, we're still out of compliance because we have no French.
CoCoTALK.
Said CoCoTALK at the beginning in the bumper. So
subtitles aren't good enough.
Well,
anyway, great to be here, Rob.
Great to have you. Do you have anything other than what we're kind of? I know we're going to talk about pipes.
Yeah.
Lots of pipes.
Yeah. Game on is it was a big week this week, so settle down for the high score list. It'll take a little while.
Anything else that you've been up to? And I know you've used to be working on MAME.
No, I never worked on MAME.
Did you? Well, you were. You play on MAME sometimes.
Oh yeah, VCC is more my thing when I use emulators. No, didn't do a whole lot Coco related this week.
And any acquisitions later?
Maybe I might.
Okay, well, great. We have just enough Canadians and probably too many Australians, but we're gonna keep moving on. neither are of those, I believe, of our next guest, Frodo. Frodo, your NL stands for Netherlands. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So that you're more than welcome, unlike those Australians.
Hey, enough of that.
Total opposites, huh? Yeah.
This is your first time on the show, too.
Yeah, it's my first time. I felt there weren't enough Europeans on here, so I thought I might as well.
That's right. We want all the different continents with us. I've been to Australia 5 times, so I'm obviously teasing the panel.
You did say continents then, didn't you? Not incontinence.
We're not that old yet.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Hey, look, that's the beauty of Zoom. We really don't know who's incontinent, and let's keep it that way.
Frodo, since it's your first time, did you want to do a little bit of your, how you got started in computers and how you found the show and that kind of thing? Or
Yes, tell us about your life.
Oh boy. Well, my first computer I ever touched was a Sinclair ZX80 in high school. It was in the electronics club, and well, from there it all started. The first I owned was a Timex Sinclair 1000, the ZX81 basically, but with 2K RAM. I programmed on there a bit in BASIC and assembly, and then went on to the ZX Spectrum. Yes, I stayed with Z80. I still do Z80, even though I wear a bit of a weird shirt today. I then went on from there to go to PC because I went to college, study informatics, and I quit there, but ended up working in a few stores selling computers, and then in the end, in 1898, I went to work for a large IT company over here. Started as a Unix sysadmin. Nowadays, data storage specialist, between quotes. And at home, I still do a lot of retro gaming again since about 5 years. Mostly Spectrums, but I like some other computers too. So I ended up with watching the Amigos podcasts, videos and streams and podcasts. And they were talking about this weird thing called Coco. So, well, okay, I met Curtis there, decided to have a look at this stream, and yeah, I've been playing a bit with it, as you might have noticed.
Oh, neat.
You're using a Mister for your Cocoing, aren't you?
I use a Mister, yeah, because I don't have the money nor space for real hardware, especially at current prices, because it's pretty hard to find real hardware when it comes to Coco over here in the Netherlands. I have touched Cocos because there's the Home Computer Museum in Helmond, where I'm a patron of, and they have a few Cocos there, which I have played with. So it's fun stuff, but for now it will have to do with the Mister.
What do they have there? Do they have like Coco 1, 2, and 3, or?
They have now I have to think, Coco 2, they have MC10 there, and the French version of the MC10.
Yeah,
and some other stuff, but that's all in storage because there's too much stuff there. I shared some pictures from there a few months ago on Discord. So yeah,
we've gotten a couple of people come over from Amigos, and Frodo's one of them, and you're one of the more active people in the Game On Challenge now, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I like to play games.
We've noticed you're exceptionally good at
it. Some games are just happen to be my style. When it comes to puzzle games with not too much time pressure, yeah, then I'm in. Absolutely.
Very cool.
So yeah, we'll hear more from you later during the Game On segment.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Well, we'll continue with the panel introductions, and Brian Schubring, how are you out there, and how is your laryngitis? Don't you have that vocal issue sometimes?
Hello, everybody. Oh yes, it's back in full force. And how's everybody doing?
I'm doing just great.
We've got you could voice out the whole cartoon there. You could make a few bucks.
Hey, that's good. I'm back.
How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good.
What are we seeing on your screen here?
Oh, that's just the my real Coco doing the maze.
Okay, real Coco.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Maze solver program.
Looks
The
a lot
Amazing
like my,
World of Brian Schubring. Wasn't that a Radio Shack cartridge or something?
it looks a lot like my rip-up router trying to.
Well, anything you've got going on, Brian? I know, I haven't played around with Ultimuse lately, but I'm hoping to get back into that. Any MIDI stuff or other projects you're working on? Oh,
You're muted.
Can't hear you with your audio setup.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I just had the mic gain down a little bit. No, I've just been busy with a lot of other things and such, and family stuff and that. So I haven't tackled anything at all. Everything's kind of been static lately. But I'm healthy. I'm doing good. Just busy with work. Everybody's got to pay tax, and I got to deal with that data.
That's right. Yep. I know what you feel. I'm with you on that. One of our illustrious occasional guests and back on the panel from down under, Chad Cunnington. I always have to say that. Yeah, it was close enough.
Yeah.
Chad Cunnington, how are you doing, and what are you up to these days?
Glad you're back, Chad.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. As I was saying earlier to you guys, surviving on about 2 hours sleep a night. That's lots of fun, but just working around that and just trying to find out a viable solution. Obviously, a lot of you guys know I started on the CoCo back in 1986, collected up to around 7 of them from CoCo 2s through to CoCo 3s. I had 4 CoCo 3s. They were all offloaded. Rich actually was looking at CoCo stuff on the internet around 2016, just because I was reminiscing about those days, and I saw CoCo Facebook group, and I went, click. Like, what is this? Okay, join. What's your favorite computer? Well, the TRS-80 CoCo 3, of course. And what's your favorite magazine? Rainbow. Okay, in. Looking through, and it was just, I can't express enough how much this group has actually saved me. Like, just the amount of, like with my post that I put up earlier today, the amount of times that I've struggled in my life with my autism, it's a real battle. And you guys have actually been there for me. And what I'm doing now, hand on heart, guys, I was actually, while I was typing that, I was sitting in a cafe waiting for my friend to meet me for breakfast. The street where I'm at the moment, there's a coffee and cars meet where they bring all the hot fours and hot rods. They do a couple of little, what we call a single pegger or a double pegger burnout or skids. If they do it right, they'll get 2 tire burnouts. Well, this idiot decided he was going to do it right on the corner of a busy intersection, lost control, and my friend who was supposed to meet me for breakfast was sitting right next to him, hit the lights. So he nearly ran her off the road.
Oh.
Then he almost hit the phone box, like the telephone box, almost actually as he hit the curb, he could have flipped it and landed in the cafe where I was sitting and waiting for my friend to turn up. And he fell 1 meter short of my car.
Whoa.
Now, I absolutely lost it. I'll tell you something else, which is really weird about this. So I went out and I just started clapping. And I said, bravo.
You idiot.
Well, I was a bit more colourful than that.
Yeah.
I think I should have just called him a friggin' snowflake.
Sorry.
And and I started clapping and I said, "Nice car, mate. Pity you can't afford some common sense, or more importantly, a defensive driving course, or just afford to, be considerate for everybody else that's on the road."
Yeah.
And what I said to him, more importantly, you could have gone the extra mile and actually written my car off because I could have gotten something better.
So this happened this morning?
This happened this morning,
Oh, wow.
right after I put this post up. My apologetic post. Now, my oldest brother died in a car accident in 1986, the same year that I got my Coco 3. He was into some bad stuff and hanging out with the wrong crowd, and they were drag racing, and there was other factors involved. And the car flipped, landed on his head. The car flipped. He was the passenger, crushed his head, and he died instantly. Now, there's a quote that I'm going to give you guys from the Count of Monte Cristo remake from 2002, because it really rings true to what I'm saying. And I'm going to put up the photos of this idiot's car as well. I've already sent messages to the organisers of the group. So, sorry to put a sullen sort of mood on the thing, but I was sitting there thinking this morning, life is short. Why don't we just cut all this BS out and be friends? We're all here for one reason.
Yep.
The Coco, but we're also here. Some of the people on this panel and outside of the panel, David, Nick Marentes, Nick Maroda, Dave O'Connor, Simon Yanassin, Brian, Bryza, God love him. They have been better friends to me than some of my own family and friends. And actually been supporting me through my marriage breakup. So I want to put my hand on my heart and just thank you guys for saving my life. I love you guys.
You're cherished by us, Chad. You really are, mate.
Yes,
Seriously,
Chad.
I mean that.
We're so glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome that you can share this with us. And, it's...
Thank you, David.
Well,
Now, I'll quickly grab this quote. It was where the Count of Monte Cristo is giving the speech to his friend's son, which, albeit, turns out it's his own son. And he says, "Life is a storm, my young friend. You will bask in the sunlight one moment, be shattered on the rocks the next. What makes you a man is what you do when that storm comes. You must look into that storm and shout as you did in Rome. Do your worst, for I will do mine. Then the fates will know you as we know you. Albert Mondego, the man." Now, a lot of this stuff that's been going on, little taunts and whatever, we've been little children. How about we start being men?
Yep, amen.
I'm guilty of it myself. I saw it as a harmless little dig. I didn't really realize that snowflake meant a political label. I thought it was just a quiet little thing. And that's where the problem lies, when we're so caught up in our own personal drama, our own agendas even, that we forget that other people out there are going through their own battles.
Yeah, very true.
Good point.
And that's why I said to the guys, if anyone wants to send me a private message on Messenger so I can get to know them, because there's so many people in the panel. Like, there's a guy that I saw on there made a comment, had never seen his name before. He's another Aussie, and he sort of slipped in under the radar, and I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I'll send him a message, but obviously I haven't gotten around to doing that as yet. So yeah, I've finally got another Coco 3 thanks to Ian Maverick, and I actually, ironically, how I met him was very bizarre. It was I was putting up look what this joker's got this for sale on eBay, and he goes, "That'd be me," and I'm like, hello.
Oops.
Oops. And much respect to the guy. He does a lot of great work. And I was I actually met Darren Ottery. We did a little bit of a sale of some non-Coco related stuff with some MIDI stuff, and we did a bit of a trade. I gave him some old Tandy stuff that I had no use for. I was actually looking at posting it up to the page and saying, "Is anyone interested in this?" It's not exactly Coco stuff, but it's Tandy. It was like Tandy LEDs and so forth. And he said, "Yeah, I'll grab the whole lot." And I got some Oz Coco magazines out of him, and we had a good talk. It was very brief because he had to go back to work, but it was good just to connect with someone like I did with Nick when I went, Nick Marentes, when I went for coffee with him when I first joined the group. Nick was my idol when I was a teenager. I saw the Donut Dilemma in the back of I believe it was Rainbow magazine, and most of my friends in school were Commodore. That was it. Nothing else could beat the Commodore. I said, well, check out this. We've got a few good games here. No, Commodore's great. I said, yes, but they're all 8-bit clones of standard games. There's nothing original in them. Check out this game here, Donut Dilemma. Still my favorite game of all time on the Coco too. And I remember when I saw Rupert Rhythm come out, I was so ecstatic. I still haven't beaten that game yet, Nick. I'll get around to that one day. My best friend beat it. I said, here, play this game, it's great. And he actually clocked it, and we watched the concert at the end. So if anyone's got footage of that concert, great, if we can post it up. And I know, Nick, it's your least favorite game, but I tell you what, you've given me some joy with it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I've got this stock 128K Coco 3 now, so eventually I'm just going to start doing all these upgrades so I can get all the other games off Nick, and obviously other people as well, other authors. Nick knows the gentleman I bought my last Coco off. He ran the Bayside user group out of Colin North. Rest in paradise, my friend. He ran the eastern contingent of the Coco, and I tell you what, he was such a great wealth of knowledge. If I had a problem, he'd say, "Look, if you're stuck on something and you're not sure, ring me." And yep, no worries. And so I'd make a list. I wouldn't just keep bugging him. I'd make a list. And I remember one time I was struggling to solve something like Black Sanctum. When I bought all his Cocos off him, he said, anything you're struggling with Coco stuff? And I said, just Black Sanctum. I can't seem to get past the boards on the door. And he says, yeah, you have to play the fuge, not just play bark. And I'm like, was that simple? Okay. It's just little things like that. And Bob DeVries, I remember dealing with him a lot and getting some aftermarket Coco gear. And there was one other gentleman, but he was a little bit toxic, and I think they sort of outed him out of the community because he was just sort of like bad-mouthing everybody else and causing drama. But yeah, so that would have been early 90s. I got my very last 512K, I think it was a triad. I didn't even know the 6309 existed back then. It wasn't until I joined this group that I discovered that. And yeah, that's an upgrade that I'll obviously be looking at getting as well.
Well, we just wanted to acknowledge Ken in the live chat saying, first of all, glad you're here, Chad, and hang in there. Ken also mentioned at one point that this is getting too serious. Can somebody make a fart joke so I'll feel more comfortable? So that is the kind of comedy material that you can expect today. But no, appreciate everything that you said, and glad that you got a Coco 3 and you're able to work on that. And if you have other stuff to go over today, or you want to give Nick more compliments on Rupert Rhythm, Somebody has to.
You cut him short, damn you.
Sorry, Nick.
We are not worthy. We are not worthy. We are not worthy.
we're just gonna finish the introduction of the panel, and absolutely we can loop back to Black Sanctum or Rupert Rhythm or Nick Marinta's trash can in Nitrous Night. In the live chat, though, I will mention we've got Kevin Holloway was out there. Retro Innovations, the president, the new president, Retro Innovations with Mark Overholser, Nick Marotta. Who else we got? 8-Bits in the Basement. Isn't 8-Bits in the Basement in France? We were talking about we didn't have a Frenchman on the panel. I could swear that he was from France. Curtis Boyle, Frodo, who is on the panel, in the live chat, Jim Rye, getting some wind noise. I don't know where the wind noise is coming from.
I think it's in chat. It might be your mic, is it?
He said he wanted some fart jokes, so there they are.
Yeah, there you go. We've got somebody's break.
It might be my aircon.
Yeah, it would be too.
Yeah, if you could, yeah.
I'll move out of the starburst and out of the aircon.
Wind is breaking.
Oh crap!
I was staring at that thing behind your head. That kind of looked like a printer.
There's the joke.
Yeah, a great big printer mounted on the wall.
Yeah. Early in the beginning of the show, when I accidentally muted my mic, yes, we did fix that, and we've also got Nimble out in the live chat. Who else? AC's 8-Bit Zone, and the list goes on and on. Well, thanks to everyone for all the comments so far in the chat, and appreciate you being here. And wanted to also introduce the man of the hour. Might have to mute you if you could go on mute there, Chad. I'm still getting that wind. The man of the hour, Nick Marentes, who knows a little bit of something about pipes and semi-graphics and background music and trash cans. And how are you doing, Nick? And
hey, good day, everyone.
Welcome.
Yep, I'm all right. Yep. Just standing on my head so I can see what you guys are saying.
That's right. Well,
yeah, that's all.
Hey,
Thanks.
Nick.
Yeah.
I understand OS 9 has pipes.
It does actually, yes.
There you go. I was
They're not quite as fun though.
Exactly so.
Yes,
Being a Unix guy, I recognize them too.
Some nice clean pipe humor. I like that. Well, Nick, I know we're going to talk more about the game shortly. Anything else you wanted to cover today?
No, it's all right. Then we'll move along.
All right, well.
Vegemite. More Vegemite.
Yeah, I had some Vegemite last night with my sausage, and that's not a euphemism. Next on the panel is... I really did. Garlic, onion.
Sausages and Vegemite. That's a new one.
Yeah, I put Vegemite in a lot of things. It's great, nice and salty.
Italian sausage, Italian sausage.
It was a French apple sausage.
Still pandering to them Canadians, ain't you?
Yeah. We have to. We have to. They make up 30% of the cocoa community. Mr. Dave is out there. He's a guy with 6809, and he loves them, and he did stuff with Raspberry Pis and all sorts of stuff, and likes K-pop, or I can't remember. But how are you doing, Dave?
Oh, I'm always good. I've been pretty busy lately. Lots of projects.
What have you made your Coco do now? Is it can your Coco stream CoCoTALK yet? Can it actually stream the show so I don't have to do this anymore?
Yeah, my Coco 2 can do that.
Well, he didn't say his MC10 could, so.
Well,
no, I got plans for the MC10. I've got a lot of machines and a lot of irons in the fire at the moment. One of which is I'm going to make a Coco 3 game for the first time.
Yay!
So that should be a fun project. Plus lots of hardware stuff going on.
And your Coco 3 game, so do you have a Coco 3 or you're going to be using emulator to do that?
I have a Coco 3, yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I have one I'm supercharging, of course, and I have a stock one.
Great. So you'll have real hardware to test on.
Oh yeah, no, I love real hardware. I just got myself a Vectrex for the first time. So that's kind of a cousin of the Coco. It's running the 6809
That's right.
for now.
Now, do you have the not to get too off the Coco, but do you have any issues with the speakers? I know there's a couple of fixes for the Vectrex with the crackly sound coming out of the speakers and things. How is the Vectrex that you have?
Yeah, it's got the traditional Vectrex buzz. So I'm
Okay,
going to put in a different little audio board, and I'll probably add a little bit of reverb to it to give it a little more depth. I'm probably going to put a 6309 in there. And it's not hard to program games for the Vectrex. There's a lot of ROM and BIOS calls you can use. So I'm going to try to play with that a little bit too.
Now, will you be able to run Nitrous 9 Ease of Use Beta 6 on the Vectrex?
If Curtis wants to spend the next 3 years doing modifications, sure.
Nope.
Big shake head there going on from Curtis at the top.
I was going to ask, actually, since you're planning on doing a game for the Coco 3, and obviously the Vectrex is designed for games, and you're putting a 639 in both of them, are you planning on doing the same game on the two different machines?
No, it's going to be a different style game. I'm doing really a graphically a game with a lot of graphics and adventure. I can maybe show you a little preview after we're done introductions.
That is the question. How weird is graphics on a Vectrex?
Well, it's neat. There's no doubt about it, and it's pretty hard to emulate because you can't, get that brightness in your face,
Yeah, it's a stroke box, not a raster box.
Great. Well,
but it's fun.
Are you going to make the screen sideways instead of tall?
Yeah, it might fall over at some point.
Bit of landscaping.
And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Dave helps qualify us for a French Canadian content. So.
Yeah, I would actually like to ask that you close Zoom and stop others coming in and keep it more Canadian.
Well, there goes our host.
I hate to tell you.
He's going to turn us in.
There goes
Yeah,
the
no. I'm going to take that to court there. I think we should stop it right now. No more counting.
Any Americans?
So when do we mandate French?
Count.
Yes. We may have to quarantine Americans before we go into Canadian Zoom here.
Just on the Vectrex, guys, I remember my family friend, she was another Coco user, and her neighbor actually had the Vectrex, but I only had one game on it. It was Scramble. I noticed some of them actually had one game only in some of them. Is that how they operated, or are they different?
Well, they have a cartridge slot, which is good because I can make my own cartridges for most of the machines now. So, but they do give you a game preloaded in the ROM. And what's interesting about that is if you're writing a game, you can call on the previous game's functions as your own. So because there's a game residing in the machine, if you want to do special effects like an explosion, you can use their ROM calls and just call their subroutine and it'll do what was programmed in that game.
Sweet.
So
Okay,
it looks
excellent.
intimidating. It looks intimidating. You see the Vectrex, you see these weird vector graphics and stuff. But I actually got a chance to try programming on it, and I was surprised that it's really not that complicated.
So you think a Gimme X will fit in there?
Wouldn't do any good in a vector system.
I always wanted a raster vector in the same machine so you could kind of have a really cool background and then a
Mix and
really
match.
sharp. Yeah, wouldn't that be a thing?
Well, I guess you could
Photoshop in it.
over voltage your CRT, and you'll get some pretty exciting things.
Yeah, you want explosions, man. There you go.
That sounds like the Mr. Dave I know.
Set off all the reefer caps, stink the room out.
Okay, so we'll definitely keep us posted, Mr. Dave, on anything you want to go over later in the show. I wanted to bring on R. Alan Murphy.
That's a good idea.
We know about L. Curtis Boyle, but we don't always talk to R. Alan Murphy.
Is he still here? I thought he
R.
left.
Alan, are you still out there on the panel?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh,
Howdy, everybody. I'm just kind of glad that Mr. Dave has had all kinds of projects going, but no major fires that I've heard reported. So we're in good shape there because, he was just talking about overvolting a CRT and stuff. No, but what you have to be careful of when you're programming your Vectrex, Mr. Dave, is making sure that you don't collapse your CRT guns down to 1 point for too long.
Burn a hole in the phosphor.
Yeah, you'll at least burn the phosphor, and then you have a dot you can't get rid of. So pay very careful attention to that.
Are you speaking
I'll keep things moving.
Are you speaking from experience?
Might be. I have programmed some stuff on a Vectrex. He's not kidding. It's 6809, but it's very heavily BIOS based. So you just load registers, call a function, load registers again, call another function, and you can get quite a bit done with the library of code that they have built in. It includes music and stuff. So it's kind of the opposite of the CoCo, where they said, here's the 3 or 4 ROM calls we want you to use. Don't touch anything else. The GCE folks for the Vectrex put just a big pile of library utilities for vector games in their executive, and it does make. I mean, you can just say print a string and it'll do it. It'll put the string on the screen.
How big is their ROMs?
8K plus an 8K game. But it's kind of fun. And one thing I've kind of wondered is if we couldn't use a CoCo as a programming console for a Vectrex through the cartridge bridge, especially with Jim Brain doing all kind of cool DMA things through the cartridge port on the CoCo. So, there's possibility for some hybridization out there.
Oh, it's a really interesting concept.
All right. Well, I don't know about the Vectrex ROMs, but I'm pretty sure they don't have a temple of ROM. That's something that we have that they don't.
That would look good on a Vectrex, actually.
Yeah. That would be good. Well, certainly last but absolutely not least, and I'm taking a chance that he hasn't stepped away, but there's a man on this panel who likes breaking things. He also often gets very excited for the show. And if he's not listening right now, this build-up is going to go nowhere. Because that man's name, as David O'Connor is dropping a hint, that man's name
is Jason.
Is not Nick Marotta. We did already do intros with Nick. It is Mr. David Ladd. David Ladd, are you out there?
Why, yes, I am, sir. And how is everybody today?
We are good.
Yeah, we're really, really good. We had some trippy stuff going on with your intro there, David. You've got some female companions going on in the background there.
Yeah, it sounds
that
like
was not my audio.
Cool. My audio.
Yeah, I just came on at the same time.
No problem. Well, David, I mean, are you excited about today's show? How are you feeling?
Feeling? Well, I don't know. I've been laying in the same spot for like 3 days, so.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
Oh, is that you just not feeling well?
He's
It's one
lying.
of those things, you know.
You liar. You
It's
were
so
out
s-
shopping earlier today, Dave. Don't be telling people you're laying in the same place for 3 days. You liar.
Well, I have been laying continuously, no, but I have been laying in the same spot
Yeah.
for 3
You need to defrag your lying down.
A bunch of fake news going on over here.
Uh-huh. And that's
need to
where I'm
recap.
laying right now.
Well, David, do you have anything particular that we should be prepared for or want to highlight, or any kind of floppy grease weasel discussions that we should set aside time for?
No, I'm just stepping along the rails, you know, just keeping things sliding along.
Would you like to say anything about Nick Morente's pipes?
They're clogged.
Yes, they do leak. I can tell you that.
Only for the first 7 levels.
Well, speaking of Nick Morente's leaky pipes, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and I have I will apologize in advance, but I am sorry to say that we have a video from Samuel Gimes, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Oh, no.
Hi, this is Eddie Zerbinski from beautiful Quebec City. Vous écoutez CoCoTALK.
As you're enjoying CoCoTALK, we also want to remind you about the Coco Discord server. This is a place where people come to connect, to ask questions, to provide answers, to share information, and to socialize. So when you're done, why don't you head on over to the Coco Discord server and we'll continue the conversation there. The easy to remember link is discord.cocotalk.live. See you on Discord. CoCo123 is the Glenside Color Computer Club community newsletter that's been in publication since 1985. While the Rainbow magazine may be gone, it doesn't mean you still can't have a cool Coco periodical. Head on over to the Glenside Color Computer website at glensideccc.com and then click on the Documents link to view all the past issues of the CoCo123 newsletter. Not only can you read all of the past and present issues, we'd also love to hear some submissions from you. So if you'd like to send an article, a column, something to talk about, maybe even a program listing, send an email to glensideccc@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. The Coco World Map is a cool community resource where you can view cocoa nuts from around the world. Head on over to map.cocotalk.live and see where your fellow Coconutians happen to be living on the planet Earth. If you would like to submit yourself to be on the Coco Map, send an email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live, and we look forward to seeing you on the Coco Map. Hey guys, it's Stevie Strode, and if you've been watching CoCoTALK for a while, hopefully you understand that everyone is welcome to join this show. You don't need an impressive resume to get on. You just need to enjoy the Coco and be willing to talk about it. There is no wrong way to Coco. There is no wrong way to be a fan of the Coco. There's no wrong way to be on CoCoTALK. You just have to want to talk Coco. So if you would like to join us, then reach out to us on our Discord server, which is discord.cocotalk.live, or send an email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live, and let's get you on the show and let's talk about the Coco.
Hi, I'm Tim, and you're watching CoCoTALK Live. And I'm playing Daggereth online like that idiot from the book.
Can you dial back on the condescension there as you respond there?
It doesn't get old, that's for sure.
Absolutely does not get old.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Of course you do.
Really?
Well, I believe we have a special video performance here. Is there anything that we need to know about this, Nick Marotta?
No, just watch it and it's game related, so I think you guys will enjoy it.
It's game related, and it's from Coco Thoughts and the panel, feel free to chime in during the video. And here we go, everybody. Samuel Gimes.
Oh.
Coco Thoughts is my recital, because that is the title. I'll rock some rhymes, I'm Samuel Gimes, and thinking is so vital. Here we go! It's tricky to plumb the pipes, and get them right. It's tricky! It's tricky. It's tricky to plumb the pipes, and get them right. It's tricky! Patrice is 90 elbow, quick before the water flow. Inside this house I wrench it out, I know I can't work too slow. The pipes are really greasy, the solder makes me queasy. I spent some time and plumb the pipes, you know it's not that easy. It's tricky to plumb the pipes, and get them right, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to plumb the pipes, and get them right, it's tricky.
That is gold. That's the best one yet. That's
One of the best ones for sure.
That's hilarious. Love it.
That was fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm going to learn that one.
Oh,
Crikey.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, what do you think, Nick?
Yes, Nick.
That was the most heartfelt crikey I've heard yet.
Crikey.
Thank you, Samuel. That was really, really awesome.
Thank you, Samuel
brilliant.
Gimes. Nick Morentis, could you ever imagine when you were coding away at that game? That's such...
No.
No.
Well, two out
You
of
gotta have that play.
2 out of 3 people say Gimes is great, and one says Gimes sucks. So there you go.
Ben Drakes is saying...
We need to have that.
Oh, and a hack. 50-50. 50-50.
Ben
We
Drakes
need
is
to
saying...
have that
Sorry.
version playing in the background while the game's running. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good. Ben Drake's saying it's very tricky to get that song out of my head now. So
Nice.
thank you,
Nice
Samuel
throwback.
Gimes.
Earworm for the win.
We're all going to be walking around today singing that song in our head.
Beastie Boys in my head all day now.
I never listened to Beastie Boys, so I have no clue what the song's about.
I don't know this.
And
Well,
there's
it's
no
about
relation.
plumbing
It
pipes.
doesn't sound like anything to me.
Wasn't Beastie Boys, that was Run DMC.
It's
Oh,
about
you're
plumbing.
right. Sorry. Yeah,
It's
you're
related
right.
to the game,
Well,
Ron. It's
whatever.
about pipes. Just know it's about the game.
Yeah, well.
It's just about pipes.
Runny Smarties, Runny Dairy Milk Chocolate. Run DMC.
I don't know the original
Sorry.
song either, but it's still very funny.
Ron's
The
review.
original premise of the song is basically how that when you become famous, people want to know you more than when you weren't famous and didn't have money.
Yeah, and,
Oh, so
and
that's a
Ferraris
double
as well.
strike. So it gets on Nick as well, because he's all famous with his Ferraris now.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, like the idiot that rode his car off this morning.
Oh, Samuel Gimes. Yes, Run DMC.
Yes, Run DMC as confirmed by
Yeah.
Samuel Gimes. Well,
Could
speaking
somebody kick Samuel Gimes out of the chat, please? Thank you.
Samuel Gimes might get banned from the chat.
Any idea what DMC stands for?
Dairy Milk Chocolate.
Yes.
Detroit Motor
It's
Company,
the,
isn't it?
it's the initials of one of the gentlemen in the rap group, Daryl McDaniels. And Run is he's actually a preacher now. He's a full-on Baptist preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, really?
Yes.
That's a turn for the books. That's a complete change.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, we have more to talk about pipes, including the game, the high score challenge, and all of the what's been going on over the past week with this exciting semi-graphics game that we're so blessed to have. So we will let's
Roll the video.
Roll the video. Thank you.
High Score Challenge with
Nick Marotta.
All right, and welcome to another week of results. This week we played pipes with 30 people submitting scores this week. Great week. R. Alan Murphy, 50. Coco Man, 1,000. Mark B, 1,200. Jim Rye, 1,700. David Ladd, 1,900. Brian Weisler, 3,050. Rogelio Perea, 3,450. Tom C, 3,550. Low level, 3,650. Mikey, 3,750. I see a pattern. David Craker, 3,900. Sheila Craker, 5,950. Cat Lord, 8,200. Just Mike, 8,450. David O'Connor, 11,700. L. Curtis Boyle, 12,000. Michael Klein, 12,450. 8 Bits in the Basement, 12,500. Paul Shoemaker, 12,500. Ben VR Drake, 16,500. Me, 16,850. Mr. Dave 6309, 17,800. Buck Owens, 18,750. Brendan Donahue, 19,000. Welcome, Brendan. Canadian Retro Things, 21,550. Nathan, 24,200. Flutterball, 29,150. AC's 8-Bit Zone, 40,850. Sloopy, 46,650. And the number one score this week belongs to Frodo with 129,300. Way to go. Thank you for a fantastic turnout and for all the scores submitted.
Congratulations, Frodo.
That's an awesome score.
Thank you.
What level did you get up to?
On that one, I think it was level 18 or something, but I got further in other games, but with less score.
You guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, we had a great turnout this week, and I said thank you to Brendan for joining us, but he wasn't the only new one we had this week. We also had David's wife, and we had AC's, I can't remember his name. Anyway, this is the final list. We had a couple of entries submitted after the deadline, so I updated the list, and this will be the one that goes on the page. So we actually had 32 people play. We ended up with Morgan and Robin Donahue as well, and Curtis got a slightly higher score, and Brendan got a slightly higher score. So this will be the one that goes on the in the channel. But thank you very much for 32 people. That's a record, I do believe.
Oh, cool, very cool.
And thanks to all those people who bought a copy of the game. It's been really good.
So anyway, I'm going to start off showing off some gameplay from Canadian Retro Things. Thank you, Ken. Oh,
Nick,
and while we're showing this, we'll talk a little bit about the game, and then we'll talk to Frodo a little bit later. So what do you guys think of the game?
I loved it. Thought it was really, really addictive.
Now pretend Nick's not here. What do you think of the game?
I actually did love it. I actually really did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. I love those kind of puzzle games, like Frodo was saying.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's a lot of fun. And
so what color is your new Ferrari?
Green.
Cocoa green.
The mouse works really well for this game.
Yeah, mouse was my choice too.
I like the Black Beauty for it. I know somebody else posted didn't like the joystick, but I like the Black Beauty for it. I thought it worked pretty well.
I put my I had my deluxe one set on auto centering, and first time I loaded the game up, I thought, oh, this isn't going to work on auto centering, so I switched off the auto centering, and I actually really liked using the deluxe joysticks. They worked well for me.
Yeah, I'm sure the deluxe would work well in free floating mode too, because it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there you can see Canadian Retro Things did a crossover. That gives you nice points.
Mm.
One nice thing about it too is that this was a game that was, under various names, Pipe Mania, etc. Was on a variety of 8-bit, 16-bit systems, etc. But we never did have a Coco or Dragon version, as far as I know. So Nick's actually the first one to port this.
I wonder when the first version of Pipes actually showed up. Maybe was it after the Coco's lifespan?
Oh,
like I remember seeing it on Game Boy.
It was earlier than that, wasn't it, Frodo?
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
I do know that there was I think 20 games that was a bit similar, but
oh, you said Amiga,
completely
right?
That, but at the Amiga you had Pipe Mania. I don't know the year that was from, but that's the one I know best. It was also on Spectrum where I played it first, of course. But,
yeah, Amiga was 87, wasn't it? When it came out?
The Amiga version is the one that's usually seen as the standard version of this kind of game. Yeah.
I needed a lead pipe this morning. Come here, man.
Yeah, Canadian Retro Things is doing a pretty intricate little pattern here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the patterns that's very useful.
We'll show your video in a bit when.
Yeah.
So first, just see if anybody else has any opinions. Any.
Well, one thing I want to point out, because this was pretty rare in Coco 1 and 2 games, is it actually has multi-channel background music while you play.
Yeah,
and that's, I mean, we have a few other ones like Grabber and Crazy Painter and a few others, but that's a pretty rare thing because it's pretty CPU intensive, as Nick can attest.
One person in chat, and this is a compliment, Nick, they said, I got messed up because I didn't realize you could actually start playing while the music was playing. They thought they had to wait for the music to stop. So the fact that you had music playing while you could play the game at the same time, it's a real testament to the programming.
Yeah, you're always
So
used
if
to
some people were waiting for the opening theme to stop before they started placing pieces.
Yeah, I could have had a full-on soundtrack during play, but I tend to not like games that have that. It just gets a bit annoying if the song's completely repeating in the background. So I chose to go for a more of a rhythm in the background. It was just something a bit more less. I don't know. It just sounds better, I reckon. But I do start the game, or the level rather. I do start it with a song, and yeah, you can start playing while that song's playing. But yeah, and then it then stops and it waits for the counter to reach 0, and then it starts the rhythm in the background.
Maybe we're used to not being able to play while music is playing on the Coco.
I think we pretty well are in the Coco.
Yeah. So
the Coco 3 maybe not, but
I love Draconian, but man, sitting through that theme song every time is painful.
Yeah, it does. It gets painful.
I think the other reason Nick didn't do a full soundtrack too is that he wanted this game to fit into 16K, which is a bit of an achievement too. So.
Well, I could have because the music doesn't take up that much memory. Actually, it's only the notes, and the notes don't take up a lot of time. I don't use samples or anything. It is actually generating notes.
Okay,
so you can have a fairly long tune in there, but like I said, it just gets to be annoying. So,
okay, I have a question for the chat room or the panel. Who anybody recognize the opening theme?
Frogger, yeah.
And anybody, I don't remember what the anybody remember the know what the name entry screen song is.
I didn't pay attention to that. No.
It's the bird dance, the chicken dance.
The bird dance, the chicken
dance. Of course, we called Vogeltjesdans here. Yeah.
And the music during the other piece of music is the Tarantella. It's Italian.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, it's funny when Nick put that song as a placeholder, the Tarantella song, and I laughed and I thought, oh, did you pick that because it's Italian? Because, Italian plumber, Mario, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
But he didn't, but he left it because he thought that was a good connection.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Another Italian song, so I told him the bird dance. So he put that in, the chicken dance. So he put that in as the name entry screen. So thank you, Nick. I love the music in the game, obviously.
Yeah, no, it was thanks for that.
Sorry, Nick, you go.
Oh, so I was just going to say that the way I because I don't know how to read music and all that. I mean, I'm totally hopeless when it comes to music. What I did was I searched the web looking for MIDI files of different tunes, and that's where I found those little songs. I thought they sound simple enough. I might be able to do that, and then I loaded the MIDI file into a MIDI editor program, which shows me all the notes in that MIDI file. So then I wrote a program which basically allowed me to key in the notes in the same fashion into the into the actual game itself, and that's how I got the tune in there. So it sounds right. Otherwise, I couldn't put together music if my life depended on it.
I almost hit the space bar on my computer to speed up the water, but it won't do that. It's the video.
No. Did everyone use the speed up option?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially go ahead.
You're right. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, especially when it was a short level, and I said, I'm not doing it. It's not going anywhere useful. I'll just speed it up and go to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get a long run of pipe,
and maximize points too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The longer the pipe, if you can get a long pipe made, then quickly hit the speed up because you get more points.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict because the pipes that appear at the top are random. So sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
Yeah,
that's the one issue I have with the game, actually. Nick.
All right.
You have made it completely random, even at the start, which means that if you have a starting point that points towards the edge of the screen and is 1 square away from it, there is a small chance, and it's happened to me twice in the past week, that you don't get any piece you can use until it's too late.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
And at the Amiga version, they solved that by making sure that the first 6 pieces are all 6 of the possible pieces in a random order, and then they go completely random.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well.
That's what they did there, but that's what I noticed. I played it a lot, as you may have noticed.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to say
that was the one issue I had with the whole game.
I just want to say a quick thank you to Canadian Retro Things for his video footage, and now we're watching Frodo's video footage. So go ahead, Frodo,
and now you're watching the master.
Talk about your skills with a Z or a Z.
This is your bragging time. Go.
I basically I go for a standard thing. You see it in this level. I basically go for the 4 corners, try to get across there with not always completely in the corner, but try to get as many crossings as possible in there. And sometimes you have to zigzag a bit. But you will notice at some point, probably at about this point, I will hit the space and the water will go faster, because as soon as I have the top line complete there, because, well, whatever you may get after that is double score. You also will see that I do a lot of replacing pieces, circulating pieces, because, well, even if it costs you 50 points per time that you circulate a piece, if you get a crossing complete, it's 500 plus whatever other parts you have in there. So it's worth doing a lot of replacement that way, as long as you can get extra crossings in.
Yeah.
Plus, as you see, I filled the screen as much as possible. This is the
wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, I think usually if I go for the first 3-4 levels, I score about 10,000 points per level. Although the maximum I had on one time on the first level was 20,200. Just by making as many crossings as possible. That's the whole trick. And even if, as I said, if you take out pieces, replace pieces, it's worth it, because you score so much more for the crossings.
But that's a good strategy. I never even thought of doing the corners first. I always try to build it from where it starts.
Yeah, that is smart.
Mm-hmm. I know, but I try to do from the start that I get at least 5 or 6 long, but start with those corners so I know I can build through there. And you see what happens. You get quite long lines that way.
Are you against using cross pieces just as straight throughs? Like, because you can use as cross pieces as straight throughs.
I use them if I have no other option. Once again, you see here that I start with making a small nearly O shape where I just need to put a cross piece in later. That's already a quick start. And there's a cross piece coming, so I will put that in. And with that, I know, okay, now I can start with the corners because I have some time. This game is thankfully not as quick as the Amiga version with starting the water. So I have time for that.
So you pretty much always do the corners, or try.
I try, unless it's absolutely not possible, or if it's a weird setup with the blocking part, etc. But usually I go for the corners. Yeah.
Wow.
I never even thought of that.
So how come you? So why didn't you post that in the Game On Challenge board for us, then, Frodo? That's kind of mean to withhold that info. I'm teasing. You guys can post or not post whatever you like. It's just give you a hard time.
I don't know what other people do. I know other people who are very good at have different tactics, but it's just my tactic, and it worked for me.
It's good.
You know I'm teasing you, right?
Obviously, it worked for you.
This is impressive. You're really good at this.
I reckon.
I didn't watch the video ahead of time. I wanted to be surprised with everybody, and this is really cool.
Is this video on Discord anywhere?
Yes,
So-
it's in the Game On channel.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I might
And
grab a copy because
it's on my it's on my YouTube channel, so you can.
All right, yeah.
Sorry, Frodo, didn't mean to step on you there.
Not knowing
okay.
the back,
No worries.
not knowing the backstory, I would have thought that was actually a demo.
Yeah, maybe it
That's
will
how
become a
fast it
demo.
is.
I have a question for Nick here on the game here. Did you get anywhere near as score as high as Frodo did?
No.
Nick, you didn't even play this.
I didn't even. No, yeah. Well, that's the thing with me. I write these games, but I rarely play them. So I just get more fun out of writing them. So yeah, it's good to see other people playing it, so I can see what the game's actually able to do.
Well, thanks for the game, Nick, but you're also on the wall of shame.
Yeah, that's right. How did
By
you
the way-
find the mouse or joystick control, Frodo?
Mouse was pretty good, although the mouse I was using stinks, but that's I just have a cheap mouse I have connected to my Mister. But yeah, it's perfectly playable with mouse. I tried with the analog stick on my 8-bit do, but that's just too short to get precise placement.
Right.
But with the mouse, it's perfectly playable.
Right.
By the way, there's one other thing regarding the mouse, Nick. When you start a game, you normally get the question, do you want RGB or CMP?
Yep.
After you first hit a key. That doesn't happen if you happen to accidentally hit the mouse button first, then it goes directly to CMP mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that. Yep.
I noticed that a few times.
You might do have the joystick button too, I wonder.
Version 1.2 coming up.
Well, yeah, because the fire button interferes with the row of keys.
Yeah,
It does.
PIA.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I noticed that. I thought I might as well bring it up.
It probably does that with the joystick as well.
Quite probably.
That's funny.
Yeah, it
when
probably
I was
does. It
before the
probably does.
before the show, when I was having something to eat, I sat down and I saw this video posted in Discord, and I watched it while I was having something to eat. Then come back out here literally a few minutes before the show, and thought, I'm going to try all these little things. And because I hadn't practiced it, I wasn't anywhere near as good at it as what you are, but I could see the merit in the methods, and it was it was inspiring.
One thing you did, Nick, that I love is you only started a game with a joystick that would actually let you play the game. Because I've seen other games where it'll start with any joystick button, but only listen to a particular joystick.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that can be annoying.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about joystick buttons. Oh yeah, then you change to the right joystick on the Joey and you're all set.
Yep.
It's colorful. I mean, that was
I really
that was one of
liked
my
this version.
intention. Yeah.
It works really well. It's
That was
one
that
of
was
the
one
better
of my
versions.
intentions. Yeah, that was one of my intentions to get the color back into the color computer.
But it looks really
OU,
fantastic on the CMP8. It really looks
Yeah,
good.
it does.
And RGB on my RGB looks really
RGB, yeah.
So Frodo, you'd mentioned before the Amiga version runs a fair bit faster. Now you've also played some of the other 8-bit ports from the time. How does Nix compare with the other 8-bits?
It's been a long time since I played them, but it's similar to the Spectrum version I played, I think. But I would have to check because that's been a few years since I did that. The Amiga version I actually played 2-3 months ago, because then it was a high score challenge again at Amiga's channel. I am a little bit better at Amiga version, but that's because I'm more used to that one, and I have a better mouse when I was playing that one. But,
So you're saying you're not as good as you could be on this one yet, and yet you kicked all over asses to the floor.
This is gonna sound really bad, but I know I can make over 200K in this.
Yeah, wow. I want to see that. Make a video of it. I want to watch it because I really enjoy watching your video, as much as I enjoy playing the game. To be honest.
Hey, Amigos Retro Gaming is here in chat. Hey, welcome. 8-bits, and we're not done yet, Frodo. I'm just going to talk about chat for a couple seconds. 8-bit Basement said the game was worth it. And Drake said it was a great game in the One More Go department. Ben Drake thought it was great. You could start playing while the music was playing. And somebody questioned whether the pieces were actually random or if they withheld the piece you needed.
It's random.
It's very random. That's clear.
So, Nick Randy's, I have another question now. After that Frodo's mentioned he can get at least 200K. Sure. Do you have anything happening if you wrap it to 1 million?
Not really. Just Yeah, it's just got those 6 digits, so hopefully it doesn't reach that far.
That's a challenge. That's a
Yeah,
challenge.
there you go.
Here we go.
I did it to other programmers before, so that's a challenge.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering if
It's
it'll
always-
wrap over to zeros, or will it actually crash, or will it start putting
It'll
cartridges
wrap.
back in?
It'll wrap over. It'll wrap over.
Okay.
Oh, somebody also enjoyed the water effect. I think that might have been Ben as well. Ben's very active in chat. Thank you, Ben.
It will start, random doors and bank vaults will start opening, like with Y2K bug.
Oh, world will end.
Oh, don't talk me about that time. I sat through that when I was a Unix.
Divide by zero error.
Yeah, I think it also
Now-
designs a new trash can for Nitrous 9 if you wrap 1,000,000 too. So
Those retro games just congratulating you, Frodo.
Now,
Thank you.
Mr. Dave 6809 has actually put this onto a rum cartridge. So
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I've given him my blessing if he wants to be able to make these cartridges available for other people to put their legit copies of pipes on. But yeah, so this would be a nice little cartridge game, I guess.
Yeah, it works good on cartridge, and
Yeah.
if you want to rage quit, like bang, you can just reset it. And, okay, try again.
Perfect for Stevie.
Here's a one-way piece.
So Nick, if you guys are putting it on cartridge, are you going to kick in the double speed then too, or just leave it the way it is?
I'll leave it the way it is. Yeah, it's fast enough.
Probably a good speed the way it is.
Oh, yeah, they say kicking the double speed, I'll get no hope.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like Frodo said, the Amiga version is a fair bit faster, so for a more legitimate.
Well, one of the
takes
things
reason.
when you're programming games, I guess, is it's how hard do you make it? Because you've got to look at the market. If most people are not going to be able to, get that high in the game, then you sort of lock out so many people not seeing the later levels. So you don't want to make it too hard. You can't assume that everyone's at Frodo's level. So you have to pick a point more in between. So Frodo is an exception. He's very good.
Well, so are you saying the Amiga version's too hard? Because I think you've played the Amiga version too, haven't you?
I have. It's a little bit harder. But
wow, look how intricate this one is.
I was under the impression that the Amiga was 16-bit, not 8-bit.
Well,
it is. But there's also Spectrum versions and some other 8-bit versions of the same game too.
Yeah.
So.
Geez, I can't even follow this. Oh, there it goes. Wow, okay.
There are moments when I'm building these kind of things, I do use my finger to follow. Okay, where do I get? Oh yeah, there I need one corner. Sometimes I do, but thankfully with this version you do have time for that.
Now the grid is the same as the Amiga. It's a 10 by 7 or 8 grid.
Yeah.
So I kept the grid the same size.
Yeah, you had just enough space on the screen for that, huh?
Just you have to squeeze it in.
I saw that.
Into the semi-graphics.
You use the screen perfectly.
Yeah.
I have one last question, Frodo, too. Have you ever filled the entire maze up?
No, I haven't yet.
Yet.
I was wondering if you put in a bonus for that, because the Amiga does have that.
Yeah, I know.
Usually it's not worth it because you have to do too many replacements then.
Yeah.
That's why I never do. The Amiga has another bonus too, which you don't have, but that's okay. The Amiga has a bonus if you make, I think it's 5 crossings.
It is 5 crossings.
You get, if it's 4 crossings, 5,000 or 5 crossings, 4,000.
Yeah.
But you get an extra bonus that way. But you don't have.
Well,
that
I never thought anyone.
Okay.
I never thought anyone would be as good as you.
Wow! Thank you.
The original also has. The original also has in the later levels where you can exit the grid area, and like there'll be an opening somewhere, so you can exit one side of the screen and re-enter on the other. I was thinking of doing that, but then I thought, no one will ever get that far, surely.
And within a week, we got a guy in shooting distance already.
Yeah, that's right. Frodo.
In the Amiga version, I reached level 32. So.
Yeah.
The Amiga version also has bonus levels, but I know that wouldn't fit in with the RAM.
It's a little bit tight, yeah.
Yeah, because the bonus versions, you just get some random pipes going back and forth on top, and you drop one and try to make lines that way, which you can use your life. But I didn't miss it.
maybe I need a new to do an update on this in a couple of years' time. Call it the Frodo version.
Yeah, the Frodo
Pipes.
Advanced version.
Pipes.
Lord of the Pipes.
Lord of the Pipes. There you
the
go.
Frodo version.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can have a digitized picture of Frodo's face there, right as it fires up the game.
In
Those
semi-graphic
precious
glory.
pipes. Those precious pipes.
I hated having to replace.
Like
You don't leave any
sometimes
extra parts around, though. You don't have any extra parts.
in this game, not many. Sometimes I do leave one or two, but usually I just place something that I can't use, but I know that I will be using that spot, because that's only 50 points. While if I leave a part, it's 100 points. So I rather replace it and leave an extra.
Like, how far ahead are you planning?
Quite far. Especially
Quite far by the looks of it.
Let me guess, you're good at chess.
As I said, I start with those corners, so yeah. I plan
Very,
quite
very
far,
impressive.
but
You're on a
as I said,
different
puzzle
level.
games are my thing, so yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with David O'Connor here. This is actually more fascinating to watch you do really well than watch me play poorly.
You saw. I also did. What was it? Tetris, another game where similar thing. You get time to do puzzles, you combine stuff, and and also planning ahead. I like that kind of stuff.
Which game?
Tetris
Tetris.
is another one. That's another one of my favorites. I love that game.
Tetris I like and I'm pretty good at. This one I like it, but I'm not so good at.
Well, I was actually thinking of doing a Tetris before I decided on this. My idea was to do a Tetris game, but then I thought, pipes.
There is already a Tetris, of course, an official.
Well, there is, that's right.
There was quite a few, actually. The Coco's probably have about 4 or 5 versions of Tetris.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked this one too, because it's new for the Coco. So.
It's new for the Coco, yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Move.
It's a great game. Well done. Very well done.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever. I didn't realize it was a port from other games. Actually, I thought it was. Yeah, I've never played it in the past, so it was a completely new game to me. Even just to see it, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Interesting enough, the first time I tried this game, I got some good points the first screen. Then I lost points. Your counter can go down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I noticed that the lowest score that ended was 50. You can actually get a 0 score, even though you finished the first level.
Yes.
But you can't put in your high score.
It won't let you put it in the high score.
It won't let you put in the high score, but you can actually finish with the 0 score, even though you finished the first level.
Yeah.
Well, you know why,
you
right,
could make
David?
it to level 10.
They're taking away pieces, like points for pieces left over.
50 points if you replace a piece, 100 if you left one piece at the end.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, the high score only lets you put in your high score if you have a score that's beaten all the other scores. And the high score table starts with everything at 0. So if you get 0, you haven't beaten any scores on the high score table.
Yeah,
have you?
exactly. I always hate when you have those blocks collected together there. So because that means my standard method doesn't work, as you can see. So I have to go for a bit of a different route. Plus, I try to get those one-directional parts in. Because, once again, 500 points a piece.
Yeah, a lot of points.
Up.
Yeah.
I believe on Canadian Retro Things video, he said you have to go through those, but that's not true.
You don't have to.
One
The only thing you have to go to is an exit piece from level 8 on. You have to exit there. And that's what you will see if you happen to watch to the end of the video. Level 8, I blundered here because I got a phone call, got distracted.
Here, I'll fast forward a little bit. There is that the purple block there?
There's the exit.
Yeah, that's where you have to end.
Oh, I saw that once.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I saw that once.
Yeah, that's if you reach level 8.
And you still have to fill so many pieces before you get there too. It's not like you just make a quick little pipe there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always try to make as long as 5 anyway, but you need in this case 12 pipes. So
yeah.
The screen setup is totally random as well. It randomizes where it's going to put all the objects on the screen. So it is random. It's not preset or anything.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit different from the Amiga because there is a bit less randomness in the Amiga version.
Yeah.
That prerequisite for the number of pieces you have to put in, that's continuous pieces, isn't it? Where the water flows through, not just pieces placed randomly on the screen.
The water has to flow that much.
Yeah. Keep in mind that if you do a crossing, that counts as 2 pieces, so you can actually win a bit with that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll look at the name entry screen if it's there. Oh, it's not.
No, I quit it at game over. Yeah.
The name entry screen is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Game over, man.
I saw it a lot.
Chicken dance
I tested the game over screen extensively. It works very well.
I saw it a lot too. Although I must admit, later on, after the first day or so, I played quite a lot. But if in the first 3 levels I scored less than 25,000 in total, I just escaped and started again. I knew I could do better than that.
That's like I was doing in Phantom Slayer last week, because if I got a bad set of mazes, I just died on purpose and then waited for better.
Sometimes it's just not worth it because you can do better. It's
Not sure about the chicken dance. I spent 10 years as a wedding DJ and I just can't do it anymore.
That's an incentive, Chad, so that you play longer without dying, so you don't have to hear it as often. So it's...
Yeah, true.
Sorry, Chad. Oh yeah, I can't remember if I suggested that or not, but I was happy to hear the Italian songs, and anyway, it was funny.
I'm gonna have the chicken song in a minute. Talk about earworms.
Well, there's the other earworm you can listen to later, which is Skyme's video.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a better earworm.
Well, let's leave that for after dark.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about the game?
I just gonna say it's a really good game. I'm glad we got this particular port to the Coco, since this is a game we did not have a port of before.
Did I ask you how long it took you to write this?
What was it? Was it 2-3 months?
Yeah, just over 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
It's one of your fastest ones.
Pretty much right.
It was, yeah.
Right?
I guess one of the good things about programming in this semi-graphics Coco 1 and 2 mode is that the program, it is a bit simpler. The code size can't be as big. The graphics are low res and easier to work with. It really felt more like my original TRS-80 Model 1 games, where it was low res back then. So it's easier and quicker to develop on. Plus, I didn't slow myself down by setting up a blog page and having all this extra.
Continual updates and everything.
Yeah, I just concentrated on the game. I did Rally SG. Then I thought, well, if I concentrate and just see how quickly I can just pump out one more. So I went hell for leather there on that one and finished that fairly quickly.
So here's a plug for your website, Nick. Want to talk? Plug your game again. The options for getting it.
Well, Pipes, it's still available, and you can buy it for as a digital download, $8, or if you want the CD, 18. And I decided to include the Rally SG, which is the same Rally SG I had before, but I've included a map editor, so you can actually edit the tracks in the game. And a couple of.
I was just going to say, with that map editor for Rally SG, for those of I purchased the online download. Can we give you a few extra bucks and get a copy of that?
Look,
map editor?
If someone wants the editor, I'll send it to you. That's all right. So I'll send it to you, Dave.
Oh, awesome! Cheers. No, that'll be cool.
I actually originally bought the digital version, but within minutes I also ordered the CD version, so I got two download links actually.
All right.
Because I wanted the CD after all.
Yeah.
And such. Yeah.
So
you got some extra money for me.
Yeah.
I will mention too,
there's the editor.
I will mention too that both Rally SG and Pipes, of course, work on the Dragons as well. There's that hardware discrepancy because of the way they redid the H-Sync, so that it doesn't function properly when it's actually in the VBlank. But Paris Surratt has actually posted a little bit of a hardware thing. You can add a switch to go between the normal mode or switch it back to the way the Dragon 32 and the Coco work. So you can actually fix it so the music does play properly on a Dragon 64. And from my understanding, it's not that hard of a hardware mod. Just for any of you, those out there that have PAL Dragon 64s.
Yeah, it's only on the UK Dragon 64. It should work fine on a Tenno American Dragon 64.
Yeah, and it works fine on Dragon 32 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Is my screen still sharing?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on the live stream. Okay, never. Okay, live streams. I'm not live.
Yes.
So yeah, anybody who gets the map editor, the instructions are on the website.
Yeah,
cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm.
Now, is anybody actually who's bought in the CD pack? Has anybody actually made any new mazes for RAL-SG that you can share?
I assume people are just receiving the CDs about now, because I was looking at the logs for the manufacturer, and they've been sending me out all these emails this week saying item shipped. So I assume most people will be starting to get the CDs about now.
Okay, so the people that purchased the CD, you sent pipes ahead of time, but you didn't send the RAL-SG.
Yeah. Everyone got the digital download anyway, so that they get the game. But the CD, it has to be.
Okay, so you weren't sending the SG or the RAL-SG editor.
No, not yet. I thought I'll make that a CD thing, but yeah, anyone who wants the RAL-SG, who has already bought the RAL-SG,
yeah,
I can send it to you. Yeah.
Whether they buy CD or not, you'll send them the SG editor.
Yeah. It's no drama.
Well, that's nice of you. Thank you, man.
Yeah, cool. The Aussie spirit.
He felt guilty after his fourth Ferrari. That's all.
So now I've got the dilemma. I've got to buy a bigger shoebox.
I mean, I know your head's swelling from all these sales here, but not your feet. So.
Here first, folks, his next game is Shoebox Dilemma.
There you go.
All right.
No, it's the next game is going to be called Poops, and it's the follow-up to Pipes, and you poop in the shoebox.
All right. I don't think there's anything else I'd want to talk about in the on that website.
Okay. So are we ready to move on?
Yeah. Do we want to, Nick? Do we want to stay on Pipes just so we can play the Coco Thoughts video again and come back with Game On News?
Well, do you want me to I have to announce the next game of the week?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to announce the game of the week when we come back in the Game On section?
Why?
Or you can announce it now. I was going to play
I've
the
never
pipe.
done that before.
I reckon this is the normal way we do things.
Do it the way you're used to.
I reckon play that
song
again.
Okay, we will. All right.
Yeah.
So,
the next, ladies and gentlemen,
it is November. Some of you may know what November is. Some of you may not. For those,
it's the 11th month of the year.
For those of you who do, we're doing a little special series for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're starting this week off with the game that I have been waiting for. You guys may know what it is.
Oh, I do.
Who've been living under a rock.
Telewriter 64.
The game next week. Can anybody guess what this game is?
I can't.
Colormax.
I can.
Buzzard bait.
The game of the week this week is Buzzard Bait. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay, Lancer Bait.
And just for those of you who don't know about the bit of the challenge between the various versions of Joust on the Coco. So basically November is Joust month is what we're doing on Game On. And it's something Nick and I talked about months ago because of course we got this friendly rivalry over which version's better. So we're gonna have 3 Joust clones in a row. So this week is Buzzard Bait, and then that's because it's closest to Nick's birthday.
Yeah.
And that's his favorite version. Then we'll have the middle one, which will be Pegasus and the Phantom Riders.
And then I'll break up the Joust a little bit. Pegasus is a different game, so I thought maybe break it up with Pegasus because it's a similar concept, a different game. So
yeah, it's a little bit different. And then the last one, which is near my birthday, is Lancer.
So that worked out fortuitously as well.
And then at the very end of all 3 there, we'll kind of maybe have a voting poll or something set up on Facebook so that everybody, after seeing and playing them all throughout the 3 challenges, can then once in a while decide as a community which one is the funnest game to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys will take part in that. We won't do back-to-back clones like this as a regular thing, but we just thought it'd be fun to do for this because of the rivalry that Curtis and I have. So hopefully you guys will take part in the 3 weeks, and you can take part in any of the weeks
so
you want.
disappointed if it turns out to be Pegasus. That's all I got to say.
If
Go
you
ahead.
miss a week, you can still take part. Don't worry about taking part in every week. We're not. It's not a one event thing, but it's sort of just a special little quick series.
So Nick,
right.
is your score going to be way up at the top?
You know what? I'm not saying a thing because I saw Frodo playing games, and we have Buck Owens, who's really good. We have a few people who are very, very good. We have Curtis. So you know what? I'm not gonna put my money where my mouth is yet.
I saw Scott Cooper in chat say, "I think I know who will get first place on this one."
I know
100% sure who's not gonna get first place. That's me.
I'm not promising, man.
It ain't over till it's over.
Too many gamers here, man. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
could imagine Steve Buck Owens.
That'd be embarrassing if I was cocky and didn't win. And I will not cheat. I could cheat, but I promise I will not. I will not doctor the spreadsheet. So I run an honest game here.
Well, remember, Nick, there's photographic evidence too in the Discord, so it's harder to cheat.
Yes. Well, I could Photoshop maybe if I really wanted to, but no.
Nick Morenis has been such a horrible influence on you.
One question regarding, now that we've revealed 3 weeks in a row's worth of games, apart from honesty, what's to stop somebody playing next week's game this week as well to try and get a really good top score?
Nothing.
To have extra time to get a better score.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if there's regular games you play on your own and we happen to pick a game on challenge and you've been practicing for weeks playing it regularly anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Exactly. If you want to cheat to win this contest, then that's.
Well, I don't even view it as cheating. Like I play Coco games that are not the game on challenge, believe it or not. So if that game happens to come up and I've been playing it all the last month or whatever, then I'll obviously be a bit better at it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why it never has time.
This is just for fun anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't so much that I was getting at. It was more that if, like, during this week, if next week's game's going to be Lancet, and then somebody plays that this week and takes screen grabs of their scores.
Okay. Well, again, it's for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawsuit.
It's just for fun, Dave.
There will be.
I'm not saying for 1 minute I'm going to do that. It was just a what if. I was just playing devil's advocate. That's all.
Please. To be honest, it doesn't really matter on the score. We want people to enjoy playing games that they either haven't played in a long time or have never played before, like Pipes.
Yeah, that's
obviously.
cool. That's cool.
Since in this case everyone knows this, so everyone could do that. So.
Yeah, good point. So it's still an even playing field.
Exactly.
But this is one of the few things where a participation trophy actually is a good thing.
This is just for fun. This is just for the war. The war.
Yes.
I'll tell you, if I was going to be doing it for always winning and getting the top score, I would not even start. I'm doing this because I love doing it.
Exactly. So it's just for fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to take buzzard bait screenshots this week.
Yes. Just to let you know, I've been practicing on Predator, so I'm going to be ready.
Good thing. Yeah, you should practice a lot.
You've already won it.
Yeah, nobody else will participate in that one.
I think the best way to win is not to play. That's
exactly. Really,
it's the only way to win, according to some games and films.
All right, guys. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, all the participants. It was 32 people after the deadline, so that was a really good score. A good testament to you there, Nick. People love your game, and please buy it. It's really good. And we will see you next week.
Yes, and we've got a couple more. We're not quite done with Nick's pipes just yet.
I'll stop sharing.
Let me take back over here. And hold on.
What is November Everybody Grow a Mustache Month, is it? I've noticed Curtis and Nick and a few others have.
No, I just didn't shave very well this morning.
Yes, actually, it is Movember for men's cancer awareness, and it's also No Shave November.
Yeah, I gotta fix my
there are two different groups that do this for men's cancer awareness.
Is that actually a thing?
Since 2000.
Apparently, Ron Delvaux does that all year, though.
I did it for a while too, but then I got the irrits with my itchingness at night time. I shaved it all off. So
Well, let's come back with some Game On news if Curtis is prepared for that. And we're going to throw it to Samuel Gimes here to kind of take us over into that direction. So here we go.
Coco Thoughts is my recital, because that is the title. I'll rock some rhymes, I'm Samuel Gimes.
Yeah,
and
David, we
thinking
just kind of
it's so
decided last
vital.
minute to announce all
It's tricky
three.
to
That's
plumb
okay.
the
It
pipes,
doesn't
to
matter.
plumb
Just
the
for fun.
pipes and get them right. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to plumb the pipes,
This is
to plumb
great.
the pipes and get them right. It's tricky. Bertice's 90 elbow. Quick before the water flow. Inside this house I wrench it out. I know I can't work too slow. The pipes are really greasy. The solder makes me queasy. I'll spend some time and plumb the pipes. You know it's not that easy. It's tricky to plumb the pipes, to plumb the pipes and get them right. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to plumb the pipes, to plumb the pipes and get them right. It's tricky.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for Game On. Game On is brought to you today by Pipes, the latest game from Nick Marentes. Available now at nickmarentes.com.
Just before I switch to the Game On news too, I'm hoping, I don't know if he's watching right now, but I hope Chet Simpson pipes in. Pardon the pun. Because Chet's a huge rap fan. In fact, if you've played his original Gold Runner 2000, you know he had a lot of rap samples in the background while you're playing, and so he's kind of like a rap expert. And I just love to see what his opinion of the Samuel Gimes video is.
I reckon he'd be wrapped.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, on that one we'll continue. Yep.
Okay, so let's do some. I can't share yet, so I'll have to wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, you guys seen that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Slayer.
Yeah, so I don't know if this was coincidence or if Cuthbert Dragon actually watches the show. I know we featured his videos before, but he actually did a video of Phantom Slayer on the Dragon itself, and you can see beside the Dragon Cup and the actual cassette case from the UK microdeal version of Phantom Slayer, which is actually much fancier than the one that was sold in the US from Med Systems, because I have that one. It's pretty boring. So you can catch up on a little bit more Dragon stuff. That was our featured game last week too. So also Henry Reitfeld took a Coco port of Super Kid, which is another Dragon game with some digitized speech and multi-voice music and all kinds of things in it. And it looks like a pretty hard game. I think we briefly mentioned it before, way back, when I think High Retro Game Lord or somebody was going through Dragon games. So how many on the panel here are familiar with this game?
I played it on the SDC image.
Okay, for those that aren't, because like I said, it's a Dragon game originally. I'll just play a little bit so you can kind of hear the music and the speech. For a Dragon 3264 Coco 1 and 2 level game, it's pretty decent. You guys hear that?
Maybe make it a little louder. Boogie woogie.
No, it features like multi-plane scrolling, speech synthesis.
Oh, cool.
Lots of quick dying.
12 bubbles there.
Anyway, Henry Reitfeld kind of liked the game, so he brought it in and played it a bit there. Anyway, it's a cool game. I haven't played it too much myself. I don't think I even have it on the site yet, but I do plan on catching that up once the next Nitrous 9 beta's out. Next one, I think we'll let the author actually talk about this one, his latest update on his Nostromo port, and take it away, Mr. Murphy.
Oh, I should have checked the links and not been on today. Oh, anyway, so this month and last month have both been pretty good to me for the game I'm porting, which is an early survival horror game from a Japanese computer called the NEC PC 6001. Jim Gary ported it to the MC10 a couple of years ago, twice. First time he ported it just from the GIF image that's playing right now on the screen. And then later he found the source code to the game and was able to update his MC10 port. A few years later, I came along with the Coco 2 and 3 and wanted to go ahead and try to make the same game available for those. And I've been working on that basically about the past year, starting with learning 6809 assembly and things. And this month's update was basically along the lines of taking stock of where I'm at and breaking down all the different pieces, like what's on the screen right now, all the different pieces of the game that I'm trying to put together for inputs, the video outputs, the audio pieces, some little miscellaneous bits, and then trying to just show kind of how far I've gotten, how much is left to go, because I've had some questions and some comments come up about, the way that I've been blogging it kind of free form along the way is kind of confusing about where I'm at. So there's a lot of stuff in here, but for example, the video section, I show examples of the different screens. I have 4 screens working now on 3 different video modes. I've got 2 more video modes that I'm looking to add, including the Coco VGA. Brendan Donahue had some interesting ideas on how to do that fairly efficiently that I'm going to give a try to. I've got a high-res screen that I might be bringing in off of disk or SDC at some point that is the box art for the original game brought over into a Coco resolution. And that's what it looks like on the Coco itself. So it was trying to collect up kind of the last few months worth of work and just take stock of where I'm at and kind of show that, for example, here in the audio section, I've been working a lot in the last month or 2 on audio drivers and doing lots of little test codes and things like that to support a fairly large number of audio options on the Coco. And there are links there that go off to little example code for people that don't know how to program those individual cards or pieces. You can go and start looking at my horrible code that I've been figuring out as I go, and just start figuring out the same kinds of things if that seems interesting for your game. So it's a learning opportunity for me, and I'm trying to also kind of document it out in both code and somewhat in articles so that other people can pick up from it as they go. And I've had some good feedback about that along the way already. So it just kind of has spurred me to keep going and trying to do more of that as I go. So September was mostly Septandy and buying lots of new toys. And then October has been trying to start actually doing the test code with those toys.
Cool.
And I'm really down to the grind now. I've got enough video, enough audio. I've got input working. I got joysticks for both the Coco ports and the Coco PSG ports working. And with that, I'm kind of now just to start finishing out the code itself and go through the game line by line, doing the actual translation. So a lot of people have been helping me along the way. I've kind of posted some shout outs to them in the various sections that go on as well. But yeah, now you're down into the actual parts of the game that I broke down. It's a hybrid basic and Z80 machine code game. And I've mapped out all the code in both parts and just have to start working through it. But, lots of the pieces are already in place. It's now just assembling them into the actual playable thing. And the final piece of the update was an example screen of the Semigraphics 4 mode. And this works the same with Resolution Graphics 6, which is P mode 4, or the Gimme's 16 color mode. And there's all these chunks missing because you can actually move everything around, and it's actually wiping out those blocks as it's updating the positions of both of the characters on the screen. So it's starting to become a dynamic program.
Very cool that you're doing things specific for Coco VGA as well.
Yeah. I have to say, too, the fact that you're supporting quite a few, like not all because there's so many of them, but there are quite a few of the sound card options, because there's some of the newer sound cards, aside from demos by the people that have made the cards in the first place, there isn't that much software for them. So having a game that is actually cross sound card platforms will enable people that have these cards to actually use them. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the goals, is that I want to know how to use them. I bought them, and I want to have them make noise. I have all kinds of different music files to convert between them and things like that. And I have found as I go that there is a lot more code and examples and information for most of them. out there. It's just not all collected up in one place. And some of the programming information can be kind of scattered out or not very clear. So what I tried to do with my test code was have the exact same basic idea for each card, which is to play the 12-note scale starting at middle C. So here on this card, you set it up in the multiplexer, you turn the sound enable on and off, you generate the notes this way for that particular card. And then for each card, you can see here's the 12-note scale. I posted some of that in the Coco Discord in the various card channels that are there, and I've also linked them on this blog entry as well, so you can kind of start picking them up. So if there's a device that you're not familiar with that you can get access through an emulator, if you don't even have it, you can at least start looking at how to code it. And one of the pieces that came up in the last month that was really nice was Tim Lindner was able to take some of the notes. You hear me talking back and forth, and we got off into a side discussion about how some of these cards work, and he was able to go ahead and bring those into MAME. And so MAME itself will have a few more cards emulatable here in the near future as it goes through the process to submit and merge and do all that kind of thing with MAME. So there's so along the way, we're trying to just shovel out some other stuff and make it go.
Yeah, and that way people that don't have a particular sound card, if they want to write a game that's multi-sound card platform like you are, they can test it on MAME, even if they don't have the card itself, and still test it on whatever they do have.
So you're supporting the OPL3 chip in the Mega Mini MPI?
No, that one's scratched out because I don't have a Mega Mini MPI, and I don't have an emulator that I can even test code in. I mentioned that in my update, that's the one that got away.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
And that one sells out so quickly every time Ed makes a batch. So,
but you are supporting the Orchestra. But you are supporting the Orchestra 90cc, yeah.
All the different versions of it, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And we found one called the Stereo Pack, was also an Orchestra 90 clone. So that was one I wasn't familiar with before I started on all this.
That's by Speech Systems. That when they brought out the Composer back in the early 80s, like 82, 83, that was the very first stereo pack we had for the Coco.
Yep. And then Stereo Pack is an Orchestra 90 clone, but the Stereo Composer is the 8-bit DAX, but with the PIA chip in front of it. So it's a lot of this has been for me to just learn and catch up on some of that stuff and then try to share it out as I know it. And that also led to, with this, I've taken the joystick input piece that I came up with, which I'm not using the Coco ROM code and I'm not using anyone else's code that I'm familiar with in the Coco community. I found yet another way to go around the joystick. And so I'm going to share that out through a Coco 123 article that I've submitted as well. So, trying to share out everything as I figure it out, because hopefully then it gets documented out places and then I can remember it next time when I go looking for it again.
Yeah, and then other people can share that too, and instead of having to like discover everything on their own like you've been doing here, they can just look up your reference and program for that sound card or joystick board or whatever it is.
Cool.
So definitely keep us posted on that one. I don't know, do you have a timeline for it, or are you just kind of doing it as you get time?
I do it as I get time. I've got the holiday season coming up, so I'm hoping to get a lot more of the game itself up and running. Get the alien movement code in and get some of the initial scoring pieces in. I probably won't have the time to get the time trial mode and some of the other little extras in place, but I'm hoping to have the core game itself up and running this year, and burn my vacation time on doing that.
Cool. I'll definitely keep us posted, and I'll keep bringing it up and embarrassing you in chat with it. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good stuff.
Next up, Simon WGB, who actually recently joined our Discord, and he does a ton of retro streams live on Twitch, and then he posts them on YouTube afterwards. So he swung back to the Dragon here just yesterday morning. Well, yesterday morning in North American time. And he did 4 games, and he does longer play games. Like, he's not like some sites that, stream a game and they play it for like 3 minutes and then they're on to the next one type thing. Like, he'll play it, for half an hour, like, actually get a real good feel for the gameplay. So the 4 games he chose this particular time was Crazy Painter, by the Cornsoft Group. Cruising, which was a Dragon exclusive. Phantom Slayer, because it was mentioned on the Game On Challenge. And then Dungeon Raid. So he's got 2 Ken Kalish games in there. Now, Crazy Painter, I know a lot of you've seen this before. Basically, it's, they paint through and you got, various creatures and stuff coming through and killing you and putting crap all over your top of your paint and etc. But he actually got it up to the point where he got to the bonus section, the bonus round, which I don't think a lot of you have seen. So I was going to play a little tiny bit of that. And depending on how things go, he might have some colorful language. So hopefully that doesn't happen during this part. So this is the squeegee challenge stage where you have to try to wipe up the paint as it comes down faster and faster. Anyways, that's kind of cool because a lot of people haven't seen this particular stage.
Doing with this, you have to just stop the paint from reaching the bottom of the screen.
That's cool.
And the other games we've seen recently, so I won't play those. But anyway, he did a nice long stream. If you guys want to see some, long play footage of some of those games, feel free to check it out on his channel and catch him occasionally live on Twitch. Like I said, he plays a lot of other stuff too. He plays like, other 8-bit, 16-bit machines, game consoles, all kinds of stuff. And the last one here, I thought we were going to have a Jim Garrulous week here because I didn't see any YouTube posts from Jim, but then he snuck this one by me, actually put it up on the Facebook MC10 group instead. So he's porting a game called Warren's World: The Lost Colony, which is an economics simulation. And it's actually based on a PC game. So he's got a semi-graphics version of the screen on the top and then the PC version's on the bottom. And it's a work in progress. It's not done yet. But it'll be interesting to see where that one goes. Does the MC10 have many simulation games like this? I've seen a couple like along the lines of Viking and stuff, but I don't think I've seen one like this.
They do on Jim's page.
Okay.
His screenshot page has several simulations on it.
I'm pretty sure Jim did a version of Risk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember that. And anyway, that's all I've got for Game On News this week.
Oh. Did we already do Paul Shoemaker's?
Already do which?
Paul Shoemaker, number 4 or number 5? Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, what happened to that one? I thought I had that one loaded up. Oh, just a sec here.
We have a news glitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Shoemaker hasn't.
I was a bit rushed today, as I mentioned to the people in the chat there. I decided to have a bit of a nap after I had breakfast this morning and I actually fell hard asleep for a while. And I woke up like 20 minutes before the show. So that didn't help me.
Pulled a Stevie, did you?
You're doing what I do. I got narcolepsy.
Thanks for making that even more embarrassing than it was. If I got the right screen here. So you're right. Yeah, Paul Shoemaker. We showed his Ants demo last week, and he's expanded. He's actually created a menu for it where you can add more and more ants as it goes. So it gets busier and busier. This is the machine language version, obviously. So I'll play a little bit of that, and it's kind of just like a screensaver style thing. You can see some of the options there.
The key you want is M for maximum ants.
And I maxed out, what, 100, I think?
101, is it? Oh.
Yeah, something like that.
We need to know
it was 100.
It kind of reminds me, actually, of the maze demo that Brian Schubring was showing earlier when he was on, which is an OS9 one that was made as a screensaver. So,
yeah, it looked very much similar. That's what I thought of when I first saw Brian's. Actually, I thought, oh, it looks like ants. Or ants looks like that.
So anyway, Paul took this new version. It's actually available on the files section in the Coco group on Facebook. So if you guys want to download and give it a shot, works on Coco 1, 2, 3, or Dragon, I presume, if you get it converted to the right disk format. So that's it for the Game On News. Thanks for pointing out that I missed that one.
I've actually got those files on my SDCs, and I was going to load one up for the show today, but decided to put Donut Dilemma on instead, seeing as we were talking about Nick's games. So it's yeah, I'm pretty keen to play around with that ants one because it's a pretty cool little thing.
Did you say donut dilemma?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Did I miss something there, Ron?
Yes.
What did I miss?
You put the R at the end of the dilemma.
That's
Must
how
be
it's like color.
Australians talk. Actually, that's how some people in New England talk. My dad always had R at the end of
Yeah,
certain
so
words.
did President Kennedy. He always said Cuba.
Yes. Era. Yes.
People in New England, they die from hat attacks.
They
Too many hats.
What? Some hats jumped on him and beat him up.
Yes. Sometimes right after parking the car.
Or go to a car wash.
That's right. So why don't
Australia, mate? Australia.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a Ron Delvaux potty break and come back with the actual serious color computer news. We'll be right back after these messages.
Here's a hi-fi bargain from your nearby Radio Shack store. Save $100 on our exclusive realistic 77 AM/FM stereo receiver. Only $159.95 during the sale. With audio component features like FM muting, push-button tape monitor, main remote speaker switching, in a genuine walnut veneer case. The ideal control center for your new music system. The sale-priced realistic 77 receiver. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Tired of your color computer art input device being low res? Joey has you covered again. Switch between 3 joysticks or mice. Select the left or right port on your CoCo. No more swapping joystick ports. Switch between standard and high resolution mode. Supports the Tandy and the Max high resolution mode. Pre-order yours today at cocoman.biz.
The music is back. The Mini Maestro available now, only from Retro Innovations.
Go the number 4 retro.com.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
That's great, JT.
I need it tonight.
Oh, JT.
Fletcher like saved over 300 clams, you dig, when she got her a Model 100 from Radio Shack, like a good little consumer. It's like a word processor, a phone directory, and dialer. You dig, man? It even like, you know, can groove with your office computer.
Fletcher? Fletcher. You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
ESP 8266-01 RS232 TTL Wi-Fi network 4-pin DIN Fitbanger DB9 PC IP DriveWire. Oh, I'm much happier breaking stuff.
Hello, I am the speech and sound pack, and you are listening to CoCoTALK.
From around the world, what you need to know. Get caught up on News with L. Curtis Boyle.
And now a Muppet News Flash.
What's going on in the world, Curtis?
Well, a few things. But I'm not going to cover any of the politics stuff here. This is going to be strictly Coco stuff.
Thank you.
Nice move. Yep.
So the first,
absolutely agree.
Yeah. So the first one here is kind of a follow-up. The Retro Channel, who's an Australian guy too, I believe. Did we have an Australian theme today? But yeah, during September, he covered some of his Cocos, and he's the one who had the HGL keyboard Coco one, if you guys remember that. So this one here, he's got a Coco 2 that he had, and it was just a 16K stock color basic one. So he actually does a video where he upgrades the ROM, adds an extended basic ROM, and he also updates the RAM to 64K. So for those who want to do that, and I believe it's on a PAL one too. So I don't know if it's, I can't remember if there's anything specifically PAL different than NTSC, but pretty good video. And he's one of those guys that gets quite a bit of views, so it's helping spread the word of the Coco around to people that normally don't see it. So, and a definitely well produced video, and it's like I said, another sequel to Septandy. We got a lot of new people in Discord, a lot of new viewers just from Septandy itself, and people that have stuck around afterwards, like some of the ones in the chat, like ACs, etc., who will be covering a little bit later. So it's I really am glad that Septandy happened and seemed to be a lot more Coco centric than last year, because we've gained a lot of new viewers thanks to that. So keep up the good work, guys, and look forward to doing it again next year. Next one, Michael Pitsley, and he had put up a post that we mentioned last week on the Facebook Coco group, where he was trying to run a numerical integration program from a book called the Tier City Color Computer Programs from 1982. And he found that the Coco 3 Basic was actually running it slower than the Coco 1 and 2 Basic. And so James Jones, who used to work for Microware and is quite the math guy, far beyond my scope, wrote an article and includes some source code where he ports it to Basic 09 and then, goes through how you can optimize the program and then how it works and everything else here too. So obviously it'll run a bit faster in Basic 09 than it did on the original Microsoft Basic. I think he ends up getting it like several times faster. This is all floating point math too, so it's not going to be a big increase like you can do with integers. But if you're into math, or if you're into comparing basics here, it's a really well-written article. He's got it up as a Google Doc. On that topic, if you run Basic 09 on a Coco 3 and a Coco 1 or 2, does Basic 09 run on a Coco 1 or 2? I suppose. Yes. Yeah. OSINE level 1 or Nitrosign level 1. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you're running Basic 09, do you still have the same differences between the Coco 1 and 2 and the Coco 3, or does Basic 09 even that out because it's being the same code? The Basic 09 code itself is identical. The operating system behind it, like the Coco 3, you'll be running at double speed, but it doesn't run quite twice as fast because it's got all this extra MMU stuff that the operating system is doing under the hood. So it slows it down a little bit, so it's not fully double speed of the Coco 1 and 2. If you're doing any graphics functions, there's level 1 graphics, which is like P mode 3, 4, that kind of thing. That's the same between the Coco 1, 2 and the Coco 3, and OS9 level 1 and level 2 for Basic 09. If you're on the Coco 3, obviously you have access to all the new stuff, like high level menu handling and high res graphics and stuff. So that's unique to the Coco 3, and there is a graphics 2 module that handles all that. But something like this, which is strictly numeric based, and actually anything level 1 basically will run on both machines. Okay, so Basic 09 will even out the differences that you're seeing in RS Basic. Yeah, and it also runs because it has a lot more efficiencies, like it has integer types and Boolean types and stuff like that, and complex types. It's faster and generally more powerful than Microsoft Basic is on just about everything. Yep, cool.
Didn't we see something that compared the MC10 to the Coco, and the MC10's faster?
Faster than the Coco 3 and a little bit faster than the Coco 1 and 2, I think, yeah. Because they actually did optimize the 6803 version a little bit more. Like basically the 6809 was using some generic porting program they did, and they didn't bother optimizing it at all. They could have done a lot. I mean, John Kowalski, Sockmaster, James Diffendaffer, William Astle all published, patches to Basic that can speed up some things quite drastically in some cases. There's a lot of rather sloppy quick coding done on the Coco Basic, especially on the Coco 3 Basic. Coco 1 and 2 had a few things, like they basically wrote it for 1600 and just ported it straight, and they could have used a lot more power if they'd taken the time, but they were under crunch deadlines and stuff, so unfortunately that didn't happen.
Must be time to dig in and start getting into Basic 09. I keep talking about it, but I haven't had time to do it yet, so
if a couple of you guys decide to get into it, and also if Floyd gets time from his work to get back into GemQuest, which is a Basic 09 program, I wouldn't mind doing one of those nighttime live streams on a Saturday or something to have a live coding one and concentrate on Basic 09 and answer any questions between all of us. If you have new people like you, David, and people that have used it quite a bit like me.
Yeah, definitely be into that.
Next up, Kieran, go ahead.
What about with the release of the GIMX? How would that factor in with regards to speed?
Oh yeah, well, if you get the version of Nitrous 9 that we've done for the Gimme X, which the beta testers, there's a few of them that are already using it and testing it out. It is running at full 2.86 megahertz, so it is a noticeable speed increase. In fact, GemQuest is something I sent out to a couple of the testers. Bill Noble, myself, Terry Steggy, and who's the other one? Ron Klein, I think, all have the Gimme X with the faster RAM updates, so they can run the full 2.86. And I was getting the test GemQuest because the 6809 version running at 2.86 megahertz, it's playable, it's pretty quick. The 609 is bordering on too fast again, and I'd already slowed the game down just because of Nitrous 9 speedups from the original version. So we're playing with seeing if whether that has to be slowed down even more before the Gimme X version is released for the 609. Not a problem I thought I'd ever worry about. Running an arcade game in BASIC and it's running too damn fast.
Yeah.
Nice problem to have, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. First world problems.
Yeah. Next up, and I think Kieran's still in the chat. He was in earlier. 6C on Discord, and author of such games as Dungeons, and also the author of XROR. So he said he got bored a few weeks ago, and we mentioned last week that he started indexing the entire run of Dragon User Magazine for articles by author, etc. And he finished. Apparently he was really bored last week. He finished. He had 2 years done, and now he's finished everything else. So the complete version is up, and he's got it up in 2 formats. I'm showing the PDF version here just because it's easier for me to show you on the screen in a readable format, so you can kind of see the formatting he's used. It's kind of like the Rainbow Index, but you can actually go through and if you're looking for an article, you can just do a find on a PDF viewer and look for the text you're looking for, and it'll tell you what issue, what page number it's on, etc. And he's also got it in the BibTeX format, which I'll actually let Mr. Alan Murphy there describe what that is, because I think it's sort of a low-level text thing, kind of like a text or something.
Yeah,
Like
it's a
bibliographies.
it's a bibliography manager for LaTeX files. So LaTeX is a typesetting type program that's fairly heavily used in Unix or Linux, or I think Mac even does some text stuff now too. But BibTeX is a thing that lets you manage the bibliography and all the cross-referencing and stuff using software rather than trying to hand edit yet another file to keep it all straight.
Yeah. So he did it in the BibTeX format first, and then I said, well, if you can generate a PDF, because some people just, they're not going to install extra stuff. They want something that, they can view on their phone just by loading the file. So he graciously did a PDF version as well. So now you've got both versions. So. But for those who actually have the Dragon User, or I think the entire run's actually on the Internet Archive now too, if I remember correctly. I think somebody did scan them all in. So, and they had a lot of good programs that we never saw in North America, on Rainbow or Hot Cocoa or Color Computer Magazine or any of the rest. So there's a whole other set of software for people to fiddle with that they can get in from the magazines. Next up, and I think he might still be in the chat here too. AC's 8-Bit Zone, I don't know if he still is. This is part 2. He covered last week that after he did the Septandi, there's another guy that joined us from the Septandi. Though he was a Coco guy way back in the 80s too. But he actually had one of his viewers say that, I've got this Coco 2 here and it doesn't work. It just comes with a plain green screen. So the first one, he was kind of checking all the power and stuff. And it looks like, the power basically on the board's working. On this one, he starts going through signals between the chips. So he's going between, the VDG and the CPU and the RAM chips, etc. And basically by the end, he's figured out that there's at least one bad RAM, I think. David Ladd, you commented on it, so you probably watched it closer than I did. I didn't have time to finish it completely, but it sounds like part 3 might be the last one, which will be the next one, which actually shows what to fix specifically, but it looks like a bad RAM chip. Is that right, David? Or is David still on?
Muted, is he?
Might have had to step away.
Fell asleep?
Well, that's just a tradition for people watching the news segment. So, and if AC's in the chat, if he wants to chime in, I can read his response a little bit later. I don't know if he's still here. I think he had to step away too, when I remember earlier. Anyway, it's a good series, and he's been definitely keeping up with the Coco. He's joined us on Discord now. He's still cranking out Coco videos, obviously. So definitely give his channel a subscription there, especially if you're into the hardware of the Coco, because he does a lot of stuff on that.
Cool.
Next up, Simon. Oh, what the heck happened there? Well, I was going to demonstrate this, but Facebook is being Facebook today. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, maybe I'll do it this time. Have I told you how much I hate Facebook?
Not in the last 5 milliseconds.
I'm slipping.
Practically like democracy.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Yep.
And can you hear me talking over it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So in this case here, he's doing 4 voices again, like he did on the previous one he did last week. But now he's fiddled with the waves. He's got a different song on it, which I believe is based on a C64 game. But each of the voices has its own waveform, which I think he did demonstrate a little bit last week. But this one he converted from a MIDI file rather than taking raw sheet music or a previously existing Coco song. So I'm assuming he must have some sort of MIDI converter he's probably written in, on Windows or something like that. And that one actually will run in the background as an assembly routine and takes roughly about 50% of the CPU time to do all 4 voices simultaneously. It's kind of like what Nick did with pipes with the 2 voice.
Pretty impressive stuff, as usual, from Simon. So,
yeah.
One thing he did, I think one thing he mentioned, and I don't know if that was the version that was on there, but he mentioned there was a few tuning issues, but that was just a lookup table issue.
He's got to edit the table a little bit to smooth out the notes.
Yeah.
The most ironic thing about Simon that he confided to me, what he was actually told, considered a dunce at maths in school. And he actually went and got a tutor. And look at what he's doing now.
Yeah.
I should have got a tutor because I still don't get math.
The guy absolutely amazes me, blows me away every day with the stuff that he posts.
Yeah,
people said, and like a lot of people said, oh, you can't do that on a Coco 3. And Simon's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, that's one place I think Sockmaster John Kowalski's been an inspiration for a lot of programmers, the Coco. He's the one who kind of started that whole, the Coco can't do that hold my beer style thing, because he was doing some of these demos back in the 80s still.
Yeah,
right.
I remember some of the demos that I got, because the three of the Coco 3s that I got, one was 128K and the 2 512Ks. 2 of them were from 2 guys from the same user group. One was a semi-retired police inspector. Mind you, a lot of the stuff he had on there was pretty out there. And, full of brushman and all this other stuff. And there was Chet Simpson's, I think it's the Ray Laced demo.
The ray trace one? Yeah, he did that one. He did a waterfall port too.
Yes, I had the waterfall port. I found out after the fact that was an Atari ST port originally. Ironically, around the time when Tandy had started to get away from the Coco, I'd actually had in the Tandy store an Atari 1040 ST on lay-by. And my employer turned around and said, oh, we're making you all redundant. And so I went in and said, look, I've just been fired. What do we do? Because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pay this off. And they said, look, what do you want to do? And I said, well, look, I'm into music and DJing. I'll buy some DJ gear. And I've been a DJ now, close to 30 years.
Okay.
I was always using my friend's gear, practicing on theirs, and now I've got top of the line stuff as well. So that's the other love I had outside of the Coco. My first love was music. I think I mentioned this to David ages ago.
Yeah, there's been quite an overlap of musicians in the Coco, actually. I mean, Ryan Shoebring, Mike Knutz, and Lister Hands. There's been a ton of it. And we actually were one of the earlier MIDI supporting platforms, to be honest.
Sadly, my singing teacher told me, Chad, you're going to have a great solo career. I said, really? I said, yeah, sing solo that nobody can hear you.
Yeah, that'd be like me, either singing or dancing, both. But yeah, I mean, we never really had a demo scene. And I mean, Simon definitely has been an instigator of that on the Coco in the modern times. And I think the top 3 demo makers we've had over the last 30 years is Simon, John Kowalski, and then Remy, because Remy did some amazing, texture map demos, what David runs in his background.
Remy?
Yeah, he's from Europe somewhere. I can't remember exactly where he is, but He's done quite a few impressive. He did the Coco Sid simulator for playing the Sid sound chip stuff. He did the Wolf one where you can wander through a 3D maze, but with the fisheye distortion fixed. Plus, you can actually look up and down using the joystick.
I think I've chatted with him on Messenger, but I didn't actually realize he had done demos.
Oh yeah, he's done some of the most advanced demos that Coco 3's ever seen. Simon
he's
actually
from-
knows him fairly well
he's
because him and
Finland.
Simon have worked together on some stuff. I think he actually helped a little bit with Simon's demo. But the one
think
nice thing
he's-
about Simon here is that this routine he's doing here is actually going to be part of the game engine for his new game he's working on, and that's something he's not done in the Coco before. Is actually write an entire game. We've seen some graphic demos and stuff here, but these are the different pieces he's putting together. So really looking forward to that game because we'll have some other top shelf stuff besides Chet and Nick and etc.
If I remember correctly, Remy may not have even been a Coco guy initially. I think he came over from another platform, if it's the same Remy.
I honestly don't know. Like his stuff came out in the early 90s and late 90s from what I remember originally.
Okay, possibly a different Remy. This guy was, I put a random post. I put a random post up about it. It was a disc nibbler, and it was basically, what is this? Wrong answers only. And this guy started chatting with me. It was from Finland or Denmark, if that's the same guy.
Yeah, I've never really talked to him myself. I know Simon has, so next time Simon's on, we can ask him. And then next up, I still don't know how to pronounce this name. Ziax Gamazoa? Sure. He's been doing quite a few polls lately, so we actually put up a new one here, and he's kind of trying to find out where all the different Coco people are in the world. And we do have the map thing there. That goes right down to the city specific, and what he wants here is just a more general one. What continent are you on? And you can get as specific as you want yourself here. So you can mention your country or just the continent you're on, and then down to the state, province, territory, but not city. He doesn't want to, for privacy reasons, etc. But just trying to get an idea where everybody's located here. So if you're inclined to do so, please go join that poll and add your vote in there as well. And we also have the map thing, which I know Stevie updates every once in a while as we get some new members here. We'll kind of highlight where people are from. We still haven't got anybody from Antarctica yet. We're hoping that'll happen soon.
I'll save it for another time. You just
it's a little hard for penguins to type.
Yeah, they just discovered a 6-foot penguin, so that'd be really awkward. Next up, a new Coco site has been started, kind of as a social network thing, and I think Brian Blake is doing this one, if I remember correctly. So it's one that you have to actually sign up for to keep the spammers out, but they actually have a discussion section and classifieds, etc. too. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. It just got started up literally this week here, so I don't know how much is on there yet. I haven't signed up myself there. I just got a link from the Facebook group. So I don't know too much about it other than Brian set it up. Next up, Chris Burke, who you might remember from Burke and Burke days. They made the Coco XTC, the hard drive adapter, and a Cyrus Chessport OS 9 and a ton of other stuff. He's actually been working on a USB keyboard adapter. So this little video here.
This is
I don't know if this is going to work.
a demo of a
Can you see the zoomed up version, or is it going blank?
Yeah, that's working fine.
Okay, that's a crapshoot with Facebook too. So, but basically, what he's doing here is he's actually making a little hardware adapter to map to the Coco keyboard. So you can see the little diagram he's got on the background there, which is showing how the PIAs are wired for each row and column to read the keys. And he's got those LED lights there showing the same thing. So he's got a USB keyboard plugged into it, and when he hits certain keys, you'll see which lights light up, which means it's doing the right column and row strobe. So it's only a 1-minute video, so I'll probably just play it all the way through and let Chris kind of explain it on his own here. It's good to see Chris getting back into the Coco hardware scene, though.
This is a little demo of
that loud
a
enough?
Raspberry Pi
Yeah, it's
Zero talking to a USB keyboard and decoding it to the color computer keyboard matrix, which is represented by this LED array here. So you can see if I type H, E, L, L, O, Control A, Control B, up arrow, left arrow, right arrow, down arrow. They all light up on the color computer key matrix matching the diagram on the right. The next step is to hook this up to an actual color computer keyboard socket instead of this LED array, and I'll post another video of that when I have it. Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen some keyboard adapters before. We've had lots of XT, AT ones. Obviously, those are kind of going by the wayside, or even PS2 is starting to go by the wayside. So actually getting a USB one, which every modern computer uses, means we'll have a lot more opportunities to use, the fancy Dave, lit up keyboards and stuff there that he always shows off in the background here to make the rest of us jealous. Next
Yeah, it
up
was
here,
a fun project.
Yeah.
All the mapping, it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. I know I've done it from the programming side, but I'm not a hardware guy. So, but it's, same thing. You have to do the row, column, strobes, etc. Next up, Jim Brain, like we've been talking about all these sound chips, like Alan Murphy was talking about it here earlier. And Jim at Retro Innovations and the president of Glenside now has actually bulk bought a whole bunch of AY38910 audio chips, and he's now selling them for a dirt cheap price at $2 a chip. So for those of you who want to get the hardware projects, I think it's going to cost more to ship it than it's going to cost for the chip itself. So, and that's the standard 3-voice. I think is that the exact same chip that's in the speech sound pack? I can't remember.
Yeah, should be. It is, and it also goes on the Philharmonic 12 board that he also offers on the site. You can put
that is four of them,
those.
right?
Four of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Four
That's
of
a clone
those
of the
in a
Symphony 12
VIA.
board from Speech Systems.
Correct.
And are you supporting both versions of that in your Nostromo game? I forgot to ask about the Philharmonic.
Yeah.
So you're going to actually have 12 voice, 4 noise channel options. That's going to be cool.
Well, I'll support the card if you've got it plugged in, but the original game only came with 3-voice sound. So what I was planning on doing was cloning it across both of the channels so that it would be the same sounds out 6 channels, and as a do a stereo offset or something.
Oh, cool. So for you hardware tinkers that also want to get into the programming of doing these audio chips here and or making your own version of the speech sound card without the speech part, chips are dirt cheap and available from our president.
Very cool.
That's also in the FM7 and the Vectrex, also 6809 machines.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the same sound chip in the Vectrex. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty sure.
That's going to make porting a lot easier. Same CPU, same sound chip.
It's also basically the sound chip that's in the Coco PSG card from Zipster. He uses the YM2149, but the register programming is the same as the AY38910.
Okay.
So
what does the Game Master cartridge use? I can't remember. Is that a different one?
It uses the TI discrete complex sound chip. It's called the SN76489.
Oh, okay. It's a different chip.
That one's from like the Tandy 1000 and TI and some other.
PC Junior.
Yeah. Okay.
So these chips that are available, they're based on OPL2, or is it OPL3? The OPL2 would it, or being Yamaha?
Oh, this is way before LPL.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah,
OPL.
no, nothing.
Oh,
to do.
okay. It's private to that. Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, way.
These were General Instruments or Microchip, way back 70s.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Yeah, got my wires way across there then.
Next up, Alan Huffman decided to create a poll too, and this is a pretty interesting thing here. The Retro Games Limited from the UK has made a VIC-20 recreation, and he speculated what other machines should I do from that time era and try to recreate as well. And he specifically mentioned the Dragon as one of the options he's considering doing. So Alan started thinking, well, how about doing the Cocos? And if he, obviously he's not going to make every version of the Coco type thing, and Zipster's also kind of working on a clone of the Coco 2 at this point. But what machine would you like to see, him tackle next as a clone on the Coco side of things to get one made? And you can go vote on that there, and you can of course vote multiple times if there's several ones you would like. The Coco 3 is by far in the lead right now because that's the far more expensive machine to try to get these days. So I have to agree with that as well. That would be the one to do. It's the one that's getting to be hundreds of dollars now if you're getting them on eBay.
Oh, so many things have just gone through the roof on eBay this year. It's a lot of retro stuff's gone crazy.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Oh, that's the same one. Did I screw up one of the links again? I was in such a hurry after I woke up. And yes,
I've
it does
downloaded.
look I did.
I've basically gone and downloaded a meme of Dr. Evil from Austin Powers saying $1 million because everybody's basically extorting money out of everyone, holding everyone to ransom with the products that they've got.
Yeah. I mean, if any of you have a ton of Coco 3 sitting in a garage somewhere, haha, Ron, and you want to have like a big retirement fund, you're set.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick.
I'm low. I only have 5.
I'm lower. I've only got 3.
I'm jealous. I've only got 2.
That's why
I had 7 at one point. Now I've got 1.
I've got 6 Cocos, but 3 of them are Coco 3s and 3 are Coco 1s.
Yeah, I got 1 Coco 1 and 2 Coco 3s left. And my TC9, I guess that one probably is pretty rare too.
I have 20 Cocos.
Wow. Hoarder.
I really wanted to comment on that post. Like, I guess, not for lack of a better word, feature creep. Why don't we do the Coco 4? Hit up Boise. He's got it in storage somewhere.
That's just a case model. There's nothing inside.
Yeah, exactly. It was a hoax.
Let's make a motherboard. No, it's a prototype.
Prototype case design. But it was killed before it ever got to the hardware stage. All right, so it looks like I missed one here. I'll try to find it here after I do the other 2 stories.
Derek Osborne.
Yeah. So I'll try to find that one again.
Is that the adapter from Derek?
Yeah, if you got the link. If you got the link handy, if you can throw it into the chat.
Yeah, he posted it into the Tandy 1000 page too, I believe. Just bear with me for one moment.
Yeah, if you have the Coco link, do that one because I'm not a member of the Tandy 1000 group, so I may not be able to see it. But in the meantime, I'll just go on to the next ones. If you can just post it in the Zoom chat while we're going here. So next one, this is an interesting project. I'd not heard of this, but Tony Capolini posted on Facebook about this. And it's a program that's being featured on Hackaday. And it's basically one that will let you specify and create an emulator based on an XML file. So you write an XML file, which is a text-based file that specifies the CPU and the sound chips and how the video works and blah, 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 blah. And then you just run it through this thing and it'll generate an emulator for you. And he's got a Dragon one done. He's got, multiple other older systems too. And basically he hasn't published source code because he's still tweaking things around here. But it actually lets you run simulations here. You can actually go through with a trace mode here, similar to what MAME has. You can set it up to run so that it'll generate something that'll play on a web page you can actually fiddle around with, or you can make it a standalone. I'm guessing it's probably even going to eventually be cross-platform. You can even have an emulator run an emulator within this thing if you specify both of the segments. So it's got a lot of fancy stuff in here.
So you're basically replicating an emulator. That's really cool. Huh.
Yeah, so here he's actually demonstrating with the Dragon 32 a little bit here. And this is, I won't play the whole thing because this actually goes into a complete explanation of how it all works.
Stands for emulation.
And it's a 6.5-minute video, so definitely you guys should go check that out.
Lower the barrier to entry for
you can see here emulating
developers
Space Invaders,
and would-be emulation developers
80,
by adopting a low-code approach. But
and there's
they
a
would
Sinclair.
generate the 3 main tools directly from a single description. This saves a lot of tedious error.
Okay, the link's in. I think Mark Overholzer has posted similar link as well.
This website are naturally based around JavaScript.
Okay, I'll check that out.
The EMF builder takes
so this is a Dragon
XML
here
file
actually running
and builds an internal representation of the machine. It then uses that representation implemented as a simple function. In this way, your emulator only needs to invoke the correct callback at each step.
It even handles things like self-modifying code properly. Like this is a pretty extensive framework he's got. And that's basically what the EMF stands for. It's a framework for emulators. And it looks like it's got a lot of future potential. And it would make writing emulators a heck of a lot easier than trying to add something to MAME. So this might be, for those that are trying to get into custom sound cards or custom video chips, and it takes a while for Tim and others to write this in and get it integrated MAME and submit it and then wait for it to get approved. You could actually literally do this on your own, just writing XML specs for these. So I think this is something that, some of the hardware and software, hardcore designers would really like. I'm really looking forward to actually giving this a shot in the future here once he releases it fully. Yeah, I hadn't even heard of this. And apparently it's been an ongoing project for a while. So definitely check that one out. And the next one here, Richard Harding posted on the Dragon Facebook group, I think this morning, North American time, that he's uploaded non-English versions of the Dragon Basic Manual, one in Norwegian, one in Italian. So obviously we've got the English ones, and I think there's already been existing French, etc. But this is kind of this is kind of nice too, because we're getting a more and more international and non-English speaking country element to the Coco community and the Dragon community coming out and getting more involved in it again. So having these resources where you don't have to like try to run it through Google Translate all the time to figure out something, I think is a real boon. And I'm hoping to get more languages up there too, so that basically all of Europe can join in and all fun. And then we'll just need Google Translate, to have them on the show.
That's a spicy meatball.
I found the Darren link posted in chat.
It's amore.
Europeans don't speak English,
It's amore.
Okay, now where did my chat window go here?
Pasta morning.
Pasta.
I think it's hiding it because I'm sharing my screen. So I'll stop the share briefly. Yep, now it came back.
Keeps squishing up too, like compressing.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Thank you very much. I'll just reshare that.
He's talking to himself.
Hey, so Derek Osmond posted this, and this is using a digital joystick with the Coco, and you can see the little project. And it's actually a publicly available project that you can download to take a look at and build. And it's actually that particular project's actually been up for a while, but he actually built it up. Now, Chad, if you fiddled, you talked to him a little bit on this. Is there any extra details you can give, since I don't really too much?
Oh, okay, let me go back and have a look through. Give me 1 second. Of course, when you want to look at it, the keypad pops up in front of what you're trying to read.
So it's a very small little board that does the adapter there. And
he was basically asking, what do you guys think of the board? What do you think of the size of the cord? And, I'm surprised, people haven't commented something stupid like, well, cord length matters, or size matters. But I asked him, will that fit the Sega gamepads? But they use a different, let me have a look.
Different pinout?
No, it was something internal, not the pinout. Sega gamepads can damage C64s, but I'm not sure why that is. There's what someone's put here. Was just trying to help promote your product, as there's a couple of other Coco adapters out there that convert Atari, Sega, and Sega Genesis. But no mention of C64 on their one. So that was Richard Lorvieski had one, and somebody else. I think it might have been either Retro Innovations or Cloud9.
Neil
Blanchard.
Neil Blanchard.
Neil Blanchard. Someone. Here we go. John Linville. Genesis pads drive the joystick button lines both high and low. Diodes are needed to prevent driving the button lines high into the Coco. And someone has also.
It's a voltage issue, basically.
And also too, Steve Jones has put, I'm curious why this has to be any more complicated than 2 resistors as a voltage divider on each axis. I see that the gate is configured to allow a rapid fire circuit, but if I don't care about that, won't 4 resistors accomplish the basic task? Obviously, I'm missing something, since multiple people apparently came up with more complex designs, but I'm not sure what it could be. So it's an interesting perspective, given that the purpose is to take a digital joystick and convert it into an analog signal with discrete values from 0, 2.5 volts and up to 5 volts to be read as an analog value again by the computer. And it's fully saturating the output, basically, is what he's saying here.
Okay. I have to say that my favorite part of it is it has the, don't panic from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy right on the circuit board. That's my favorite part of it.
You're bringing it right back to what we were talking about right at the very beginning.
Then there was a bit of feature creeping, like why not put a bypass so that, you can have it as high res or have it as standard?
Yeah, I don't know if there would be much use for high res though, because if it's a digital stick, I mean, the high res was usually used for analog specific apps like, paint
No,
programs and
because
stuff.
he also does I think that's what he put on the Tandy 1000 page. Let me double check. He did a high res adapter as well for the Tandy 1000 and the Tandy Coco.
I did, like you were saying though, Curtis, a digital joystick's basically on and off, so there is no intermediate
like that
in
makes
between.
no sense for high res.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I would have thought.
To be
Walls
honest.
to wall.
He's
What do you
done
need?
both. He's done both.
Oh,
sure
so an
why.
analog high res and a digital adapter, basically, you're saying?
Yeah, let me just have a look.
Yeah, but the Coco High Res is kind of complicated compared to.
Yeah, and software intensive. It's almost like the Bitbanger port of joysticks.
Yeah.
Right, and just to get 0 and 63, why would you go there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's actually it's a different person that don't remember who they are.
I mean, it does support 2-button joysticks. Now, if you want a digital stick, I mean, if you want to use one of the old Atari 8-bit or the Commodore 64 style joysticks, it's a good project for that. And some people have their preferences for different types of joysticks. Depending what you're used to. Some people like, NES gamepads, etc. So it's nice having these options. I don't see the purpose of the high res one because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the high res interface to go to digital.
No, it wasn't Derek. It was somebody else.
Okay.
It was doing a high res. I can't remember if I saw it on the Tandy 1000 page or if I saw it on Coco.
Well, I mean, Jason's got his high res adapter now too for the analog stuff. So, that's a really good product. So,
which Jason?
Jason Rygaard.
The Coco Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got lots of options as far as joystick adapters. I mean, Rick Euland's been working on one too, I think. At some point.
I've got one.
Among his dozens of projects. So, no. Anyway, that's the end of the news. Thanks for helping me get that last story that I screwed up the link on.
Sure. Our president just popped in, Jim Brain. Jim, did you want to say anything about the news before we move on?
I just stepped on because it sounded like there was a bunch of questions about the Sega adapter and whatnot. So if you guys don't have any, that's fine. I just was like, wasn't sure where we were going with that.
Actually, Jim, one thing totally unrelated to hardware. You feel free to ask questions of Jim for the hardware too here. But since you're president and we haven't really had you on officially to talk about that, obviously we want to get another fest going. We've talked about the new venue and stuff. Is there any other things you've thought of for the CoCo community over the next year with Glenside that you wanted to maybe mention?
Probably not yet, but I just had a conversation with the outgoing president like this week, and I think one of the big things, I don't know that it's a big thing for the group, but I know for some time we've been trying to get all of the web presence for the club kind of cleaned up and harmonized. There's like tandylist.com, there's Glenside CCC, and then there's some development efforts that started out last year around kind of updating the website and whatnot, and providing a little bit easier way for folks to kind of manage the site, newsletters and so forth. So I've been working on some of that. That's kind of behind the scenes work. So I don't, I think it'll help folks. The other one is, along with that, I have gotten access to some of the accounts right now. So, there's a Twitter account, and there's obviously Facebook. I've been made an administrator in the Facebook page and so forth. So trying to make sure there's continuity on posting information and whatnot. I think the big thing right now is just there is a lot of focus on the 2021 CoCo Fest, because there even in my opinion there's a little bit of concern of should we be thinking about a date a little later in the year, given that it's November and there's still no end in sight to the pandemic. And I'm not saying that there's been any real conversation around that. It's just really feel strongly that I think everybody doesn't want to go through another year where there's no physical interaction. So there really would be, if it means we've got to push it till a little bit later in the year, maybe we ought to do that sooner rather than later, rather than wait until March and then have to start looking at venue changes and whatnot, like we did in 2020, ultimately having to cancel anyway. So right now that and speakers, I think I mentioned that last time I was on here, speakers for the Cocoa Fest. Those are big things. I've got some ideas, but I'd like to talk to the rest of the team. And right now there's just some tactical things, like I said, getting access to the various systems, cleaning up the kind of the website functionality, and then I don't know who all waits with bated breath for their next newsletter, but I know that the newsletter probably should have went out in late October, and here it is the 1st of November, and so hopefully we can get the newsletter out in maybe a week or two, so that we can announce the new slate of officers and also start the process of engaging with folks on the 2021 show, because I don't know that there's been that much in the newsletter around that.
Yeah, you were mentioning speakers. I mean, if it does end up being where we have to delay the show because it's just not, you can't do international travel or whatever it is like it is now,
right,
then it definitely would help to have either a backup plan, like a second day we can pre-book and just say we'll pick this one if April's not safe enough yet. But even trying to book speakers, I mean, they have to book flights or hotels or whatever else too, and if they don't even know when they're coming, then it's really hard to do that, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So I figured the first thing is, and Eric's been really nice about getting the information into a shared location, like for the contract, to see what the options are. I was going to probably call those folks in the next week or two and say, listen, things are still up in the air. What are my options? I just want to understand what the various possibilities are. I'm probably less concerned about people needing to rebook, like speakers needing to rebook flights and hotels. They can be moved. Flights, if they can't get refunded and they have an availability on an alternate weekend, and I have a feeling that the membership or just folks like myself would say, you know what, I'll just spot you whatever the amount of money is for the for the airfare, because we've run into this situation where we've got to change the date. I'm hopeful we don't have to change the date. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I just I want to make sure that we have as much opportunity to put on a show in 2021 as possible.
I agree.
Good calls.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the update. That
no
officially ends the news section. Let you guys have some questions on joysticks and stuff for Jim.
Any other questions, or we'll take a break?
I just wanted to hold this one thing up. We were talking about joystick adapters. Remember these?
Okay. All right.
This is a genuine Zebra Systems CoCoified Wyco joystick adapter.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
I think we can get this thing to, but yeah, 89. Here it is, new in the box. Don't know why I have this. I just found it earlier today and it just came up. So
Who put the sticker across the?
oh, that's the original, and I wish I could get it to show up in the light properly. That's
I can
the
faintly see text there kicking in everyone's
that's the factory label from Zebra Systems. It's just a printed sticky.
No, I meant the one on the cover.
Same thing.
Ugh.
That was their factory label. And yeah, you can't see it. It's very faintly printed. Joystick adapter, Atari to Tandy Color Computer, Zebra Systems, model USA 1, 51589. So I just thought that was funny that I ran across this literally earlier today, and then Atari joystick adapters came up. So life is short.
Amen, brother.
Life is short.
Any
so
further
adapt.
questions on joysticks, or should we let Rob do the commercial break and then come back for all the other stuff we still haven't done on the show yet?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Well, we will be
onwards.
Right. We will be right back. In honor of Mr. Dave, we will do some Coco Do, and then be back with Mr. Dave 6809 and Ron's Garage and more acquisitions and just more Coco talk. We'll be back, folks.
CoCoTALK will return after these messages.
CoCoTALK le coq champignon, des micros il donne le pion. Pour le jeu il est pas bavard, les études c'est pas bizarre. L'expansion il adore ça, les commandes tu vas voir ça. Notre Coco est programmable, pour tes cours c'est bien serviable. Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le Coco 2 de Radio Shack. On solde pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac. C'est toi et Coco 2.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. If you're using your color computer in Quebec and it stops working, is it now a CoCo won't do?
Hi, Ron Delvaux, Timberman, Coco Fest, CoCoTALK.
In a world where RGB produces black and white video, one cable can make a difference. Switcheroo. CoCo3ScartCable.com.
Hey, have you got your Coco 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Radio Shack's store-wide manager's red tag sale is on now. We've slashed prices 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Save on famous Radio Shack hi-fi, car stereo, radios, toys, TV games, calculators, walkie-talkies, and CB radios. Look for the big red tag. Save like never before on these and literally hundreds of red tag specials. Hurry into Radio Shack today.
Hi, this is Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast. I just love me some Coco, and nobody covers it better than Steve Strobridge. You're listening to CoCoTALK.
And we're back. Mr. Dave 60809, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, maybe you can do a bit of screen sharing. I'll show you what I've been up to.
All righty.
It's a pretty black cocoa you got there.
Yeah, that's my baby. I worked hard on that one. Okay, so I've been working on putting different games onto cart, games that were on originally on like disc or cassette.
Except on the Dragon, some of these actually were on cartridge in the UK.
Yep, yeah, but for me, they weren't on cartridge here. So I've been working on that, and I had a bit of help from Alan and William on how to decode the data from the discs and get them onto cart. So that was fun. Let's see what else here. So as Nick mentioned, I was able to get his game on a cart.
Ooh.
He has a door on his CM8.
Yep.
So do I.
Don't tell anyone I have two.
As do I.
Two doors.
So if anybody has a file that they would like to see on cartridge, maybe something they wrote or something that got damaged or whatever, I can put it on cart for you. I can offer that service.
That's cool.
not like if you want 100 copies of, color baseball, but, something that's yours or your
So
own
you're more offering
file.
this for one shots rather than manufacturing for sale for somebody type thing.
I had original cart of Stellar Lifeline back in the 80s. I've got it here somewhere, but I cannot find it for the life of me. So I might even I might have a discussion with Steve Bjork maybe and see if he would mind if I would do that, and you could do that for me. But so maybe I shouldn't mention that on here. I don't know, but I have the original cartridge, so I have actually paid for it, and I do own it. So I'm not asking for pirated things.
So I started collecting retro computers and working on them about a year ago. And this is my 8-foot high shelf. That's shelf number 1. It got slightly out of control.
You haven't filled the garage yet.
It's an addictive hobby, that's for sure. Well, I got lots of CoCos, MSX, some Commodores, TIs, MC10s, of course.
And a Newton or 3.
Yeah, there was a Newton. I just passed that one on eBay not long ago. So I'm working on, so here's one of the games I put on cartridge. Draconian.
Lovely RGB keyboard.
Yeah. And this is what I'm working on now. So I'm trying for the first time to make a Coco 3 game. And as Rob said, I like the anime, J-pop, K-pop, all that stuff. So I'm going to do an anime game. It's going to be a puzzle game where if things go well, you'll get to date the characters of the game. Sort of in the style of, did anyone play Dead or Alive on Xbox back in the day?
No.
Not me.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Tough crowd. Okay, well, as you played the game and stuff, you would get, rewards and stuff, and you can shop and stuff, and you could try and use these gifts to get the attention of the girls on the island. So I'm going to make a puzzle game, and it's going to be a lot of graphics. I might put it on either for the Coco SDC or maybe a one megabit cart. So I've been transferring over graphics that the Coco 3 will understand.
Do you have any screenshots of the Coco 3 representations?
Yeah, that was dialed down for the Coco 3. Right now I'm doing my programming on the VCC, and then I move it over to the
hardware.
Move it over to the hardware after. But I like working on VCC for using the editor assembler and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think when I keep talking about getting back into assembly again, and I think this time around when I'm playing around with assembly, I'm going to try experimenting with this writing assembly on what do you call it, emulators, just to make it easier to edit the stuff. Really, because Editasm isn't exactly the easiest thing to edit on compared to an emulator, really, and a notepad. Just copy and paste and write on that. I could see the merit in that.
Well, I'm doing my programming on VCC using the Robert Galt's version of the editor assembler that works for the 6309. And I do like it that right away I can write some code and hit debug and run it right from there,
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's what Nick uses for developing his games too, is that same assembler.
Well, here's one of the reasons why I got into the Vectrex again. They have there's new games being developed for it, and new overlays that respond to ultraviolet light.
That's really, really fancy looking.
Yeah, the games look really good. You got to set up a black light with
Wow.
LEDs or something around your Vectrex screen, or just use a powerful black light behind you, and it's quite amazing.
So how does a black light affect what's on the screen? I wouldn't have thought that would have been possible. It's
It affects the overlay, doesn't it?
The overlay.
Yeah, it affects the
Yeah, it
overlay.
affects. You got to buy a special.
And you get the bonus that
Some
if you
of
set up the light behind you, you can actually get yourself a tan at the same time you're playing.
Especially if you come from Antarctica.
Yeah, most of these are using a UV frame that you can get and fit to the Vectrex itself. And then you just pop the overlay in, and the overlay is the only thing that's really lit by the UV frame.
So the Vectrex itself isn't. Oh, I'm just not quite getting it. Is it? It's not creating the overlay graphics, or is it just creating stuff that goes on?
No, it's an actual piece of plastic sitting in front of the screen. If you look at like a Star Castles arcade game, the screen of the Star Castles arcade game actually has a plastic film on it that gives you the colors for the various circles.
Yeah,
they do the same thing with the Vectrex, is that it has tabs that you just fit the overlay into in front of the screen, and each game for the Vectrex came in a box that was big enough for the overlay, the cartridge, and the manual. And then in the past couple of years, they've made these overlays. They've recreated the original ones, and then someone got the idea to print them using ultraviolet sensitive paint instead of just the regular paint that they use, and put a UV frame on it because you're going to play your Vectrex in the dark anyway. So now you get a Vectrex, you get a buzz off kit for it to stop the hum, and then an upgraded controller, the UV frame, 50 add-ons. Oh, there you go. That's where the buzz off goes.
Okay.
Where?
So this is inside my Vectrex machine. Now the second chip behind the one that's not socketed is the 6809. And instead of using like the typical horizontal scan line, the Vectrex will move the beam wherever you need it on the screen. It's pretty old hardware.
Hence the warnings about not letting it leave the beam in one spot and burn holes in your phosphor.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going left to right or up and down. It's more like an oscilloscope.
Yep. So you got a vertical and horizontal deflection directly being controlled by the computer without scanning, without raster scanning.
Yeah, so there's no video chip. We have just some logic circuits that are moving the beam around as the 6809 wants it moved.
Okay.
But it does have its own sound chip. And like you guys were mentioning earlier, the sound amp is up on that upper board near all the high voltage and stuff. So it picks up a lot of buzz.
That's a good spot for it. Put it up near the 20, 30 kilovolt.
So when you do a draw line, you're literally drawing a line.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
You control the deflection as an offset from the center.
Yep.
So it's very efficient for drawing lines.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So
how many times have I said that on this show? That's really cool. I keep saying it after every segment.
so it must have a font in the BROM too, then.
It does.
Yeah,
it's bitmapped in and then it's scanned across.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
I like the ultraviolet backlight though. That's
that looks cool.
Well, these pictures, believe it or not, are not doing it justice. You should really check a YouTube video if you want to see how impressive it is. And unfortunately, it doesn't emulate very well. You
I grew up
that intensity.
I grew up in the 70s. I had the posters. I know.
Yeah. I used to make
posters.
Reminds me very much of Tron. The graphics in Tron.
Yeah.
The movie.
I could see a lot of Coco games working good on this. The only problem is you really have to think because you don't have much RAM.
Unless you add it in the cartridge.
Yeah, you're working from the cartridge mostly. Like all your code goes into the cartridge, but not into RAM.
So I mean, you're talking about these new cartridges they're doing with these overlays and stuff here. So obviously you're in touch with the Vectrex new new brews scene. Has any of the Vectrix programmers taken advantage of the 639 itself?
No, I think someone might have tried. They tried speeding up to 6809. I don't think anyone's really put in a 6309 in it yet. I'm going to do it.
No, the
'Cause
next,
I'm more
the
comfortable.
most recent thing was putting an ARM chip on a cartridge. So they have a Pytrex, which is a Raspberry Pi that plugs into the side and then acts as a coprocessor. But on board itself, a lot of the folks really do just stick with the 6809. Not a lot of folks I know that have looked at the 6309. But if you did, I mean, you'd have to then pull your ROMs and put your own custom ROMs in as well to enable the native mode and all those kinds of things. So really, Curtis, if you're looking for more work, all someone has to do is mention how much you know about 6309 porting and performance hacking, and you will never hurt for email again.
Just in case he doesn't have enough. Just in case he doesn't have enough already.
Has, 1 kilobyte of RAM.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that's split. Half of it's used by the executive already anyway. The way that BASIC stores a bunch of variables, the executive ROM that's used by all the games also stores a bunch of variables.
So you got about 500 bytes then.
Sounds like programming Atari 2600 almost at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, this is far, far more enjoyable than a 2600.
No, I was being
sarcastic. Alan. Hey, Alan. Are you have you had Vectrix for a long time?
Yeah.
All right. Do the screens wind up getting old? You can actually see trace lines on, when they're
Yes, you can burn them if you leave a demo running too long, or they'll, like, for example, the built-in game called Mindstorm. It runs through a sequence over and over again, and if you let that burn in, you can actually see a V on your screen where the Mindstorm mine layer ship travels the screen over and over and over again. Because a lot of times the kids that originally had these crank the brightness way up, and they're really pushing the phosphor hard. But it's got a little knob on the back. You just tune it back down, and you don't notice much of the burn.
Feel
and
the
then
burn.
with the UV overlays and stuff, that can actually cover up and fix quite a bit as well.
Is it a standard CRT? I mean, can you replace it with?
No, it's kind of it's kind of a little custom guy. There are folks out there that know how to get the replacements and where to get them from. And there was a project called ScopeTrex where you actually can take the Vectrex and use an oscilloscope as the screen for it.
Oh wow!
Has been put together recently.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
It's a vector screen.
You wind up with a little round screen like this.
Well, yeah, it still draws. You're still just doing deflection drawing. So there's also some folks that I've heard that have been working on interfacing their Vectrex to the stand-up vector arcade cabinets. But really down in the end of it, it's all 6809 code, which is kind of cool because you can look at a lot of the tutorials in homebrewing. There are a lot of 6809 tutorials for the Vectrex that have some really good techniques and tricks in them that you can use on the CoCos as well.
Yeah, Chibi Akumas, who we've covered doing the Coco videos amongst his others, like he's doing Sega Genesis and stuff too. He's actually doing Vectrex too, and he's mentioned that crossover of the CPU between the two.
What's cool is it's black.
They're fun machines. They're unique for the time, and the company that made them released the rights to all the original ROMs for them several years ago. So as long as you're not doing trying to commercially resell them, that you can include them in game collections or download them and stuff. And there's no legality issues with those. The only legality issues now that tend to run around are a lot of people are trying to pirate the new homebrews. That the people that are making them are trying to recover the cartridge costs and the manufacturing on. But there is a pretty thriving multi-cart business for the Vectrex, and tons of code out there that you can legally get your hands on to either emulate. There's several good emulators for it, or to learn from. So it's yet another source of code that you could do with a Coco.
So looking at a Vectrex screen with a LED screen would not have the same feeling.
It wouldn't even work.
No, I'm in emulation.
Well,
no,
maybe
it doesn't.
Yeah, an LCD scope.
You could probably go there. I haven't seen that, but one of the charms of the vector screen is the fade after the trace, and that's one of the harder parts of emulating the Vectrex screen or a vector game is getting the phosphor response to work the same.
Persistence, yeah.
Plus, something with the vector, you're getting an absolutely smooth line on a diagonal, whereas you're getting that little stair step. I mean, if you look really close, even on the higher res screens we got these days, you'll see the little stair steps.
Yeah, right.
You don't
There's
get that
not
on
any aliasing on it because it's at the resolution of the mask of the CRT.
Is it a monochrome mask on it? Monochrome phosphor on it, or is
yes? Yeah, they went to make a color one back in the day, and that never got released because it's a big, giant pain to do color vector, and in a home cabinet, that's not really a good way to live. And they also have a 3D imager for the Vectrex that has this spinning disc of red, green, and blue that's in a big mask that you look through, and it will draw the traces for each of the particular 3 colors as that particular sequence of the spinning disc goes by your eyes. So you can actually get a kind of a color 3D effect out of the monochrome screen.
Wow. Old school meets new school. You're literally using mechanical masks to provide the color. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool system. It was pretty unique in the home arcade, or home arcade style consoles at the time there. I mean, it was the only one using a 6809 as far as I know. The only one using vector based instead of raster based. And it had a bunch of unique things. They had the joysticks built right into the console itself too. And
it was famous for being the only machine with a good Asteroids clone.
Yeah, right.
Actually, Mr. Dave's kind of showing an Asteroid style game right
Except
now.
it's buggy. They never expected anyone to get past level 13. So at level 13, it goes nuts. They had to release an updated version. So there's a Mindstorm 2 that has the bug fix in it.
Can we maximize?
Yeah, maximize Mr. Dave's there because he's kind of showing it running here so we can see what it looks like.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No, it's all right. Mindstorm's a great game. And it was built in, so you could take it home, turn it on, and you would be playing something very Asteroids-like, but that screen, right, that ship right there, that's the one that if you just let it play over and over and over for years as a demo, you'll eventually get a little V.
Yeah, right.
So like Mr. Dave has his contrast cranked way out, so it's nice and bright, which of course also is.
Yeah, Rob, if you're there, can you pin Dave's video so we can kind of show what that looks like, so everybody knows what we're talking about?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And with the AY chip that's in it, that was also used in a number of arcade games. That's one of the joys of the speech sound cartridge is that you got that kind of arcade game style sound chip available. All the sound routines for the Vectrex work on the speech sound chip with just a little bit of minor conversion for clock speed. That's it. So all these sound effects are effectively a library that you could use on the speech sound cartridge right now. I really shouldn't be giving my tricks away like that, but okay.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah,
you already promised you're blogging it anyway, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Vectrex is an amazing machine, and because it's 6809, there's a lot of really good synergy, for use of a horrible word, that you can get from, because that's kind of why I got back into the CoCo, was that I started trying to build a Vectrex program and realized how garbage I am at 6809 assembly. So I'm like, I know I'm going to have to go ahead and tackle that Barden book that killed me before. So here we go. And that's when I decided to get my Coco 2 and go this route. Was I had actually been putting together a cheesy game on a Vectrex and just realized that, no, I need to actually do 6809 right. But their ROM makes it super easy to get started.
So after we hijacked your presentation there, Dave, did you have anything more to show?
No, I got a lot going on. Obviously, I'm making some cartridges for the Vectrex because I have a 3D printer now. So I've been making Coco, MSX, Vectrex, really getting my hands dirty on all of this stuff. But my main goal really this winter is I want to make a good Coco 3 game.
Dave,
and I really want to push the system to the limits.
Dave,
well, there's no
listen,
limits.
There's something you could make on your printer that you already have, I think. Do you have a CM8? Can you make
the CM8 doors?
Yeah.
They all have doors. Yeah, I'm good.
Can you make any? Since you can
measure.
measure.
No, Ron's looking for replacement CM8 doors.
I have all my doors. I'm just thinking of you. You can make some money because
we don't need windows here. We've got all our doors. No, that was a bad joke. Oh, I'll go and crawl back in my hole.
Sorry.
It was a good try, Dave. It was a good try.
Yeah. It's this CRT monitor, I tell you. I'm stuck behind it and it's having an effect on me.
All right. Well,
did you have anything else, David, or is that kind of your update for today?
Well, that's about it. I mean, really, I just started on my game, and I'm working on doing compression of the graphics so I can load a lot. And I really want to have like something special for the Coco 3, something kind of different than what we've had. Not as fun as Gunstar or something, but something with a lot of graphics and music, lots of hardware tweaks, and I'll put it all on the cartridge or SD card.
Something for Coco Fest next?
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Cool.
Okay.
Did anybody else have any other projects or project updates, acquisitions, etc. that they want to talk about?
I know Ron has something, so let's take a quick break and come back with Ron's Garage.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back. Which one was I going to play? I forgot. Let's do this one.
And now, this message.
Hi, this is Curtis Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live CoCoTALK show.
G'day mates, this is Nick Marionettes, author of such colour computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation Nitrous 9 is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Hi, this is Max Jackson live from CoCoFest. And you listen to The Real Gamer, Steve Stroh.
We're traveling through a dimension both of sound and ideas. We're at a place where the mind can comprehend and devise a solar radio, a wireless transmitter, measure time and light. 65 electronic projects brought to reality with this science fair kit. Astonishing? Perhaps. But you can find it for Christmas for $17.95 in a place that's known as Radio Shack.
Radios, stereos, recorders, everything in sound.
Hello, everyone. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Ron's Garage. It's with Ron Delvo. How you doing, Ron?
Thank you. Hey, I love that song. Okay. Okay. I went too quick.
No problem.
There you go. Can you see it?
Can
Just came
now?
up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I did some creative drawing
Well.
on my Corel Draw and put together a bunch of fake news.
That's
Well.
cool. That is cool.
Sweet.
I like the fact you're getting into Basic 09. That's cool.
Yeah. And then I did
That's not fake news, though.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
that's the
it
truth.
happens. Yeah, it happens. Well, it's fake because it's it's presented as though it was on TV.
That's
and
right.
It was. That's right.
That's right.
But yeah. I did download some stuff about this WeFax program, and someone else put a tag on. It was in This Rainbow where it talked about weather facts. It was really cool thing back in the day to play with those. And this here is I'm just going through some of the stuff I've been doing. This is the Radio Shack logo, the new one on a Coco, which is cool.
That just going back to the WeFax thing, Ron, is that, can you actually still use that service? Is it still there and running?
I've been working on it. I went and hooked it up last night in the garage and put a wire out on my color computer and on my I have a Panasonic shortwave, and I did get a signal, but they weren't broadcasting anything. I did get it to sync, and I can show that. But anyway,
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I was just wondering whether they actually still were broadcasting the data for it.
Yeah, they show it that they are. I don't know if I can download it yet. I'm going to try, and then I'll post it. Anyway, this is a job I did on the color computer on Coco Max, and this is before I sold the job. And I printed out this sketch, and I took it to the customer and sold it, and then put the job up. Anyway, that was cool. Back in the day, nobody else was doing stuff like that, but I could do that on my Coco.
When was that? What
I was doing that before I was playing games.
was that? Sort of like early '80s or?
Yeah, '80s, mid '80s.
Ron, you had a sign writing business. Was that you?
Yeah, I was in the sign business. I used to make these letters. I made foam plastic letters, and it pretty much laid out all the lettering by hand on foam on paper, and then cut it out with a saber saw, and then paint it with color. We paint it white with latex, and then you can put a lettering enamel over it.
That'd be quite a labor-intensive process, I'd imagine.
I was just thinking the same. Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah, as time went on,
involved.
I was able to use a plotter on my, my PC and make sketches or take the lettering and make a pencil drawing of the lettering, and then glue that onto the foam board, and then cut through the foam board right on the line that was made on the plot. So that worked well. Let's see, what else do I got here? This is Robert Galt's program in composite of the color computer that I took a picture of, and then I made it 256 pixels tall, I think it is, and 109 wide. Yeah, and then 256 color, but you get what you get. Anyway, it came out pretty cool. Not bad.
A melted keyboard.
Yeah. Then I did some Halloween stuff way back at Halloween. Printed a bunch of these. That's the same process. That's high color too. And then let's see, what did I want to go to? Oh, here's Fletcher with a different hair color. And isn't that a cool looking
Looks like an
Terminal.
ADM 3A to me.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah. I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, that was high tech. It looked really cool.
We had about half a dozen of those hooked up to the Coco at work.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well.
So this is my Coco 2. Well, Coco 1 that looks like a 2. Yeah. Built then, evidently. There it is.
Yep.
Now,
That is a Coco 2 in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was exactly the one I had. I got fitted a 32 centimeter color television on that.
Yeah, there's my black Coco from back in the 90s. That thing was so yellowed it was terrible, so I painted it black. And when I took it to
see a red door and I want it painted black.
when I took it to my club meeting, they thought it was pretty cool. Nobody ever had one. This is a biorhythm program that I ran across in that same rainbow. And usually biorhythm programs are you know, what do you call it?
A sine wave plot.
Exactly. But that one is not, which is amazing. Anyway, has nothing to do with anything, those stupid programs. They're kind of the weirdest thing, aren't they? I mean, it's just made up stuff.
Yeah, I remember getting into a friend of mine was right into biorhythms at one point. He was trying to convince me it was the answer to all life's questions and everything. And I thought, yeah, okay, all right, whatever.
I remember there was one company in Rainbow, I can't remember which one, used to sell the biorhythm program, but they had that little clip you put on your finger to like read your heart rate or temperature. I'm not sure exactly what it was supposedly doing, but yeah, same thing. It really didn't do much, really.
No.
Yeah.
Today's a critical.
I first saw it on a 2.8. You're right.
Yeah, we already know that 42 is the answer.
Yes.
I first saw the biorhythms programs on the 286 PC, and I was like, yeah, okay, righto. I thought it was Hokum.
Digital snake oil is what I call those.
Yep.
And if I'm not into the astrology either, astronomy maybe.
Yep.
But not astrology.
Totally agree with you there, Ron.
Ron, there's no actual scientific evidence to prove that astrology is real.
No, none.
Zero.
It's only real in.
Yeah.
It's made up.
Yep.
Sorry out there, anybody.
Welcome to Mythbusters, Coco Edition.
Actually,
it's like just like atoms. You can't trust them because they make up everything.
The movie back in the 70s called the Kentucky Fried Movie. They did a spoof of a morning show, and they had the astrology section, and they had a disclaimer. It says, we present this for people who are not willing to take responsibility for their own lives.
Exactly.
It's a great disclaimer.
That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I actually met someone who was a journalist, and they said that's one of the first things they learn to do is actually write horoscopes.
HORROR scopes. Horoscopes.
One of a church pastor, actually, of a church that I used to go to, he pulled out all these different horoscopes from all these magazines, and it said, you may have this, you might have that, this might happen, and that might happen, but nothing finite, nothing. This will happen, that'll happen. It was just, maybe. Yeah, maybe that. It's like, okay.
Oh, you live in a house, don't you? Oh, I bet you're going to be going out the front door today. Your house has a front door, yes? Does it have a window? You might open the window today and you might get a fresh breath of air. Then they go home and they do it. Oh, wow, the horoscope's real.
I'm still stuck in the age of Aquarius.
Oh, now I've got the song stuck in my head. Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Did you have anything else, Ron? Or
no, that's it pretty much.
Okay.
I'll be, every week, every day, I have time on my hands, so I go ahead and make stuff up and throw it out there. So.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I don't cover it in the news, because you do enough stuff during the week there. You can do your own segment every time. So
right,
I'm not stealing your thunder.
That's good. Thanks.
Great. Well, Patrick, did you have anything else you want to go over on your projects?
Not really just yet. I'm still drawing and arguing with the Netlist editor and
take me off.
And Okay.
Ron, how you doing?
Down. Move me off.
Please.
Ron's mentioning he's
worst.
the focus on our screens here on Zoom. So
Yeah.
That is the worst Marceau impression I've ever seen.
Play the music.
Well, before I do that, just want to check with David O'Connor. Are you good? Did we cover everything you have to talk about?
Yeah, I don't have anything specific this week. I will have something next week, though. We've got one thing I will quickly mention is Friday night this week, we've got another Adelaide Retro Computer meetup. So hoping to get in touch with the guys, and I'm hoping actually to spend some more time on my CoCoD on the bottom right of my screen there, and actually get something closer to finished and take it with me to the meet. So I'll hopefully
don't
get
forget
some
to
video.
demonstrate Nitrous 9 this time too.
Yes, absolutely, most definitely. Yeah, that'll be number one priority for sure. Have it permanently running on one of the machines I take with me.
You're a man after my own heart, David. I considered doing that when I was younger too, getting a Model 4 case and putting a Coco in it and saying, here you go.
Yeah, I've always loved the look of the Model 4 case. It just says computer. Mm.
All right, well,
yeah.
Anyone else, anything we missed project-wise that you want to go over, or we can play the outro and move on with our weekend?
Play the outro, Sam. I mean, Rob.
Hey, don't forget, you guys can get a lot of my pictures in the archive.
I have downloaded most of them, Ron.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate that.
Yep.
Don't forget, colorcomputerarchive.com. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Great place.
And there's new stuff showing up there just about every week. So
all the time.
Great. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone on the panel. So many to mention. Mark O for running the chat. Really appreciate that. Curtis, everybody. Nick Marotta, of course. We've got even more everybody else on the panel here. Mark B and Chad and Patrick, Mr. Dave. In the live chat, we had so many people: Kevin Holloway, Tim Franklin, 8-Bits in the Basement, Steve Rasmussen. I believe that's legendary.
Buck Owens.
Buck Owens. Can make it. Well, he certainly made it today, and produced a wonderful video. Of course, El Presidente, Retro Innovations. The list goes on and on. But Sixie was out there, and
we're the actual lifeblood of our machine, right?
Yeah.
We actually make it work.
Yeah, it takes a village. And we thank you all, and we'll see you again next week. And
the
night,
start
everybody.
of the Game On challenge for the Joust clones here. And
That's right. We should always remind people. Last week was Pipes. Pick up your copy of Pipes, nickmarentes.com. Next week is
Buzzard Bait.
Buzzard Bait.
And remember, everyone, if you have to lay a really long pipe, just hold down the space bar to speed up the process.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Good night, everybody.
This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at cocotalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Differendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the Coco community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore.